95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia.
So final practice today, his 21-day window will start.
I think they're really focused and trying to hone in on the Jaguars because this could be a letdown week. That's what I'm nervous about.
If you're a Bills fan, you're fearful of the same thing that Jaguars fans are fearful of. Josh Allen.
Mike Danger.
Jacksonville presents all sorts of challenges for the Buffalo Bills. The biggest challenge, or one of the challenges at least, is the travel. It's getting out of that routine. What is it about this Jaguars team that makes you nervous going in? And do you think that this goes the way it's been going for these two teams when they face off against each other? Tight, competitive, and really kind of a toss-up situation.
Gene Battaglia.
There shouldn't be all this animosity against Jacksonville, but this is it's a tough spot. I'm going to reserve my judgment until later in the week, but Danger, I have concerns just based on the recent history of the Bills here. And based on the fact that you've got this wonky travel schedule and everything else that you're kind of throwing into it.
Randy Gregory, J.C. Jackson.
Let us start the show with some baseball.
95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester.
I don't know about all y'all, but I'm starting to feel a little bit like a zombie. Oh, did you get that? Did you get the thing that came across your phone?
I think we all did, yeah.
Transmitted a virus that's going to turn us
Don't
all into
stop because
zombies.
people half listen, Danger.
You can't tell that I'm being sarcastic.
No, people half listen.
You can't
You're
tell.
telling me that there are people really that are...
There was something going around yesterday that crossed my feed multiple times, and when I saw it, it made me chuckle. Like, I wanted to respond, but I couldn't respond because there was nothing that I would have been able to say that would have been funnier than what was already being pumped out there. I mean, it's
to people just being cheeky, or people were actually believing there was something behind this other than the fact that, like, hey, it might be a good idea if we ever had an emergency. Let's just get this down on everybody's phone.
Yes. I mean, like, the service works the way it's supposed to work, right? Like, it jars you. When it hurt, I'm like, oh my God, what is it? And I forgot. Oh yeah, that's today. This was one of just, I mean, like, there's a handful of different conspiracy theorists that are just throwing stuff out there. They're using silent drones to transmit 5G signal. It won't help to turn your phone off unless you're inside a properly grounded Faraday cage to stop the signal. Turn off your cell phones. The test is going to use 5G. This will activate the Marburg virus in people who've been vaccinated and sadly turn some of them into zombies. Just, some of the stuff that's getting thrown out there on my feed. Again, I'm not saying that. I'm being cheeky. I'm being sarcastic. I feel fine. You feel fine, right? We're not turning into zombies anytime soon.
I had a good day off yesterday. I thought that's what you were going to say. Like, I thought you were going to say at the start, like, hey, welcome back, bud. We missed you. No.
Welcome back, Gino. We missed you.
Yeah.
How was senior day?
It was awesome. I got just minding my own business because you always like compliments. Just a guy named Ryan.
Who doesn't like compliments? Everybody likes compliments.
I am just standing there watching the race, minding my own business, and this gentleman comes up to me. It's not like I'm wearing a sign that says, hi, I do the sports bar. I'm just, in public watching my kid, and he's like, hey, I got to tell you something. I really love the job that you and Danger do. You guys are smart. You're reasonable, and there aren't too many sports
we just
talk
challenged
shows.
that in the first few minutes of the show, but thank you. Yes,
yeah,
smart, reasonable, and I'm rattling off tweets from weirdos online. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So that was his take. So
that's beyond flattering.
Yeah,
and I know that my co-host and I might have resting bitch face 24/7 on our faces. It's like we may not appear to be approachable, but I think we are approachable. Like, I've never once said, not now, Chief, I'm in the zone, to anybody that's come up to me and tried to strike up a conversation. I will have those conversations. I love having those conversations. So if you ever see us out, don't be a stranger.
Yeah, just flag us down. And I think I learned from Carlos years ago, because I don't even remember him coming up to me. But now I'm trying to get better at that. But I'm not like that normally.
You big timed one of our regulars, Carlos, who listens to the show religiously, stops by all of our events, comes by Three Heads.
He's a good dude.
Great guy. Love Carlos. And Carlos is like, yeah, you big time me, or you ignored me, or I said hi to you, or something like that, and you made you feel really, really bad about big timing him years and years ago.
Yeah, and you went to he's a Mets fan. They're all socially awkward, so I guess that kind of fit.
Yeah. Well, look, to that gentleman yesterday, and to anybody listening, you got to know how much we appreciate you being a part of our little community here, our little pirate ship, the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia. We've been doing it for over 7 years here on the Fan, Rochester. It's a privilege to be able to talk sports and call it a living and do it with you every single afternoon. If you give us just a little bit of your time, it's your most valuable and precious commodity. We know how important it is to you, and if you're giving us some of that, that is humbling. So Gino and I don't take it for granted.
You can write to us in real time. What do we say? You X us.
I call it Elon's Twitter.
Elon's Twitter, whatever you want to say. X, formerly Twitter. LeBaron, one of our regular contributors. And this is the happy balance. It's true and reasonable. It's true, smart, and reasonable people who would read the crazy tweets to us for entertainment.
That's what I'm trying to do. I can't come up with anything funnier than what's been put out there, so I'm just going to read what's been put out there, and I hope that we don't turn into zombies here in the next 24 hours now that they've transmitted that 5G signal to alert us all over our phones.
Danger.
I mean,
danger.
We'll be the Walking Dead here before we know it.
Wasn't there that incident in Hawaii where they were doing like some sort of test, except it wasn't a test? You got the alert and it said, hey, missiles are incoming here in 2 minutes. Like, people can imagine getting something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think they got some bugs to work out here.
Yeah, likely. Here's what's on tap in the sports bar, courtesy of our friends at Three Heads Brewing. Rocktoberfest Lager. It's malty sweet. Such a treat. Great for this time of year. Get it before it's gone. Go to Three Heads Brewing on Atlantic Avenue today. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to get the latest from Bills practice, their final padded practice before they jump on a plane and head to London to take on Jacksonville Sunday morning.
Yeah, they're getting the work in today. And Alex Brasky, Batavia Daily News, and the Bills Digest. He wears a lot of hats, and he's going to be our ears and eyes from practice today. And we'll get to Von Miller. We'll get to maybe some roster moves that could be on the horizon for the Buffalo Bills. We will talk to Alex Brasky coming up in the 4 o'clock hour.
And joining us later this hour, let's get some winners. I mean, I stepped into the danger zone after you left yesterday afternoon, Gino. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, how did you do?
The wild card round. Well, I did all right, but I did master stroke the Blue Jays. I took the Blue Jays on the money line, and right after I took the Blue Jays on the money line, they hit a 2-run dong in Minnesota. The Blue Jays never recovered.
Oh, no, I didn't talk you into that, because I was like, I like the Jays in this series. And you were like, no, the Twins, they're going to sneak through.
I do think the Twins are sneaky, and I don't want to spoil some of my plays here later. We'll certainly get PJ, who knows more than I do, on with us here in just about 20 minutes or so, to give us his plays for the wild card round and also college football Saturday and week 5 of the NFL. PJ Glasser, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, and the host of BetQL's Send It In joins us at 3:25, and Insider Calls are presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app.
So Von Miller yesterday kind of teasing everybody that not only will he be back in practice, he intends to play this week. Which, okay, that's news to us. And he spoke with reporters today. We'll be kind of dissecting this, but Danger, my take is this. Von will say what Von wants to say. He does have a lot of say in when he wants to come back. It's still hard for me to imagine. I actually agree with Maggie. I was listening to her this morning with her and Perloff. Pretty good show.
Maggie and Perloff every morning here on the
She loves the Bills. She's a
big-time Bills fan.
And she's like, wait a second. This makes no sense, because they played the audio from the Voncast. Makes no sense. Bubble wrap him. Forget about it. You don't need him now. And it was the argument we were actually making back in the summer. When do you bring back Von Miller? Well, he could come back now, certainly. He might even contribute now. But do you want Von Miller, his freshest and his best in December and January? Dare I say February? Of course. So, like, what is the point sending him over? And furthermore, Danger, I don't know the field conditions here going over to London. That's also a big unknown. Yes, it's a world-class facility. I get that, but this is a new surface they're kind of bringing in for a one-shot deal here at Tottenham Hotspur. So I don't know if this is the week you see Von Miller, despite what he wants to say. Von is going to say what he wants to say, but...
Yeah, I mean, he was saying during training camp he'll be ready for week 1, and they put him on PUP. So this, I think, is part of the ramp-up period that we will see before Von Miller gets on the field. And we kind of knew during training camp, for all the bluster and talk of I'm going to be out there week 1, we never saw him on the field. So as it kept going and going, we're like, he's going to be put on PUP. And he was put on PUP. And if history repeats itself, then I think we'll see with Von Miller what they did with Trey White last year, where it's, get him a couple of weeks worth of practice and then get him out on the field after he's done that. You don't have to rush this. You have 21 days. You have 3 weeks to decide when you want to activate him.
Well, I'm just asking the question honestly. The 4 defensive ends you have right now, Leonard Floyd, AJ Epineza, Gregory Rousseau. Who are you taking out right now for those guys coming around the edge?
It's who's left? You get probably Shaq Lawson, right?
Yeah, because Kingsley Jonathan. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did make Kingsley Jonathan active as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there was some kind of compromise, like Miller probably trying to get on the field week 1. No, we're going to put you on PUP, but we're not going to let you wait that long. So here you can play as soon as week 5. I would be shocked if that happens. I would love it. I want him. I want him out there. I get rep him and bubble wrap, but I also get he's a football player. Let's get him out on the field so he can impact games and help give you a better chance of winning those games. So if he is out there, then I think that's probably what happened, right? A little gentleman's agreement between Brandon Beane and Von Miller. Hey, I want to be out there week 1. Von, you're not going out there week 1, but we will put you on PUP and get you out there week 5. Okay.
Or maybe week 6 or 7. I mean, this is if you're going to activate him week 6 or 7, you're practicing him with the team right now. That's it. Hard for me to imagine. Yep, one practice, we're good. No, you need to see how he responds. Everything else.
That's right. And this is the week where so much of your time is spent just getting places. It's you're out of your routine.
Logistics.
It's not your typical week of work for the Buffalo Bills, and maybe it does make more sense to see Von Miller in prime time.
Yeah, the Giants game the following week.
That would make some sense,
wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. There was another bit of Bills news today, and not surprising Bills news. Josh Allen was named AFC Offensive Player of the Week, the second time in 3 weeks that he's been named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And we should talk about it. We should talk about it because when he performs the way he did on Sunday, not enough people talk about how we love, I'm guilty of this, we love after week 1, after a bad game, to put it all on Josh. And Josh put it all on Josh. It was a bad game, but it went beyond just us talking about it. It went national, where every show and every network and every analyst were being ridiculous with some of their criticisms and some of their analysis and projection of what that loss and that performance means to the player and to the team.
Yeah, I think, and part of this too, Danger, and I go back to the compliment we receive, how we're reasonable. Like what has happened in our business, it's take land. And take land over the summer, and take land certainly after week 1 was, this guy is not elite. This is why you can't win with this guy. I don't know, or he just had a bad. You are going to have bad games, but if Josh, I'll just ask this question: if Josh Allen is not elite, then who is elite?
Are there 30 other teams right now in the NFL that would say, "Yeah, we'll take him"? Yes. The answer is yes.
Here's the list of quarterbacks I would put ahead of Josh Allen. Ready? Patrick Mahomes. End of list.
Yeah.
End of list. And the reason why, because, Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls, okay? And Josh Allen did win that game the 13 seconds. Holy cow. We would have been talking about that was the best performance ever by a quarterback.
Yes, look, I am an advocate for takes. I always say takes are currency. If you have strong takes, it's good to have strong takes. But I do think that strong takes need to be more than they can't win with this guy. They're not. Josh Allen can't lead them to the Super Bowl. Tell me why. Give me some statistical data as to why. Now, if we're critical of a player like we were of Josh Allen after week 1, it's because he had 4 turnovers in that game, coming off a season where he led the league in turnovers. And so if you're discussing that, then I will listen to your take that the Bills can't win if he's turning the ball over as much as he is. But when he shows up the way he has shown up the last 3 weeks, you're not hearing anybody talk about just how good Josh Allen actually is. He's elite right now in the NFL.
There's a but nationally with Josh Allen, right? And the but is, you remember the him in the Houston playoff game or Monday night. And he has never won an overtime game, which is kind of odd, but when the Bills lose, they have this penchant for doing it spectacularly, like the Jets game. And also, let me point this out. For as bad as week 1 was, the stinking game went to overtime. You had the ball in overtime. It was actually special teams that ended the play. So I just think that sometimes when it comes to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and this is something that has spanned over the generations, you're a little Buffalo. Oh, it's cute. It's just so, it's kind of nice and it's kind of cold, but you're not at the big boy table here, are you?
I think that's a lot of it too. And I think everybody here recognizes that and feeds off of that. We like that. We like being the underdog. We like being little old Buffalo. But they'd rather talk about Dallas. They'd rather talk about LA. They'd rather talk about New York. They'd rather talk about Kansas City because that's what moves the needle, right? That's what gets the most reaction. Well, the Bills get reaction. And they know that if you speak ill of the Bills, we collectively will rise up and defend Josh Allen, defend our team. And it's why they do it. That's why they say things like, this team ain't going anywhere with him as your quarterback. It's nonsense. It's insane. And they're all guys in the media that they're established. They've done a lot to get to where they are in their careers. Just give me the reasons why you believe what you believe. For us, it's always been, hey, look, he had a bad game. Here's why he had a bad game. But we watch closely enough to know that you're going to get a lot of good as well. And we don't spend enough time talking about good Josh Allen. We love to tear down bad Josh Allen. But good Josh Allen is one of the best, if not the best, behind right now Patrick Mahomes.
I would just say, if you're going to say Josh Allen's not elite, then who is? Right. I'd ask you that question.
Again, and how many teams right now, if you said you can have Josh Allen as your quarterback, would you take him? Yeah, I think the list on that is 29, 30 teams maybe. Who wouldn't right now? I would say Cincinnati, the Chargers, Jacksonville, probably. They like their guys, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a different category where we've won here with these guys.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. They like their guys.
Look, okay,
we're good.
Hey, Cowboy fan,
you would take them.
No question.
You would take him. You would take him over Dak all day. Jalen Hurts isn't going anywhere. Philly fan, they're fine with Jalen Hurts.
Although if they were honest, they would be like, push comes to shove.
He could probably do a lot of what Hurts does, and maybe even do some of what Hurts does better. So yeah, I think that for all of the times where nationally Josh Allen gets torn down and the things that get said about him and about the team, if you go back to week 1, Yeah, this is justification. Again, AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Second time in 3 weeks that he's received that award, and now a completion percentage that sits just under 75% on the season. Josh Allen is playing some of, if not the best football. There's a reason why he's an MVP favorite right now.
Yeah, we got the Bills. A little breaking news before we get to PJ Glasser.
You just threw me out there. Breaking news.
Ow! It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
I hope John Sterling lives well past 100 so we can continue to use that. It does not get any less fun over time.
No.
The injury report is out for the Buffalo Bills, and for the first time this year, Von Miller is on the injury report, and they kind of put a little asterisk. Per the NFL injury report policy, beginning this year, players who practice while still on reserve or exempt list are now required to be listed on the official injury report. Okay, they listed Von Miller limited today.
Okay.
Dude, he's not playing.
No, that's a ramp up. Yeah.
Right, yeah, he's not playing. Other players that are limited today. Benford, shoulder, limited. Damian Harris, a neck issue, limited. Dawson Knox, quad, limited. Jordan Poyer was limited today. Remember, he missed. And then a bunch of DNPs here. Leonard Floyd, veterans rest. Micah Hyde, veterans rest. Matt Milano, veterans rest. Greg Rousseau, a foot. Ooh, that's an actual injury. Did not practice today. And still listed here. The Bills have not yet put Tre'Davious White on IR for whatever reason.
Yeah, the Benford injury, I believe he was in the red non-contact today. So he's going to take it easy here and try and nurse himself back here over the course of the week. We'll get more Bills talk here with Alex Brasky, who was at practice. You can read Alex's work at the Batavia Daily News and Bills Digest. He joins us about an hour or so from now. Up next, we'll get the host of BetQL's Send It In and your Odyssey Sports betting insider, PJ Glasser, with some winners here in the Sports Bar. Danger and Battaglia on the Fan Rochester.
Player of the week. Bills getting into full practice today. Head coach Sean McDermott talking about the stadium the Bills will be playing at.
Yeah, I mean, we try and scout out just directional, flow of the wind, not to get too specific, but, where the play clocks are located, because that's obviously important as it relates to the signal callers and just overall playing surface, just to name a few.
We'll be talking to Alex Brasky, the Batavia Daily News and Bills Digest. That'll be coming up here shortly. Baseball playoffs were in the third. The Rangers and Rays, no score. The Buffalo Sabres sending down Yuri Kulik and Isak Rosine. Brett Murray also coming to Rochester, but Murray needs to clear through waivers. G. Battaglin, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester.
They've raised the bar on Rochester Sports Talk. You're in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Yeah, I mean, I'm relying heavily on our sports science department and Joe Collins and his staff and our training staff, and they've done a ton of research. Joe's actually from there, so done a ton of research over the years, and now it's ramped up, obviously, this off season, and making sure we're going about it the right way here.
Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott talking about his team and their preparations for a matchup in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up Sunday morning. And Governor Hochul doing the right thing, by the way, allowing bars and restaurants on Sunday to serve booze as early as 8 a.m., provided that they apply for their permits here by Friday. You're back in the sports bar. It's Danger and Battaglia on the Fan.
This is the first. Like, PJ was on the line.
Yeah.
And now he's not, because I can't even get a dial tone. What did that alert do to our phones here, Danger?
Well, he got through.
Yeah.
The phone rang.
The phone rang, put him on hold. Now I can't get a dial tone.
Is the phone still plugged in? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Troubleshooting live radio. This is fantastic. On the line, you are the producer. You're the producer, the co-host. We all wear many hats here in the sports bar. We're looking to connect with Odyssey Sports betting insider PJ Glasser, the host of BetQL's Send It In, insider calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Also, while we have the time, I'll take this moment to let you know that we've got a round of shots coming up later during happy hour. We've got news and notes from around the NFL with appetizers coming up, and you can always catch up with the sports bar wherever you get your shows. Just search us out. And the free-to-download Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, all of them. And also at The Fan Rochester on YouTube and on Twitch. Gino, you've got a look of exasperation.
I am like, what? How did our phones go dead here?
So PJ is not on the line.
No, he's not. We're trying here.
We're angling. We're trying.
Fantastic radio here. I'll just, where's Pizza Dude when you need him?
Let me, while you're doing that, let me take a moment here, since we're going to talk some sports gambling and some sports wagering with PJ and a few. FanDuel, get ready to start the NFL week off right. That's tomorrow for Thursday night. Because right now, all customers get a no-sweat same-game parlay for Thursday night football on FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 95.7 The Fan. It's me, Mike Danger, for FanDuel. Place a 3-leg same-game parlay on tomorrow's game between the Commanders and the Bears. You'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. Visit FanDuel.com/Mike, M-I-K-E, so you don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Well, I've got this is really weird. Let's try this again here.
We've got somebody dialing in right now. Is that PJ on the phone?
No, we're dead.
All right, hand that over to me, because we're like a couple. You know what we are right now, Gino? We're like a couple of cavemen beating our club against the thing, trying to make things work. So you stall for a little bit here, and I'm gonna tinker with this thing. I'm gonna get the club out here and tinker with this. The way.
Oh no! I could just go to my why no phone work. I'm doing my play-by-play of Mike Danger taking upon the phone.
Yeah, I just do what everybody tells you to do when you have a problem.
Okay, why don't you pick it up there? You can pick it up there.
You plug in and then you unplug. No, I just plugged it in, so I have nothing right now. See, there's nothing there.
Oh, there's nothing. Oh, it's completely dead.
Yeah. No, it's just rebooting is what it's doing. So while it reboots, we have a digital phone that needs to reboot. I just do what every engineer does when you ask them, hey, pizza dude, we need a little hand here. What can you do? Did you try plugging it in and unplugging it? Unplug it and plug it back in. Did you reboot? Usually that solves all the problems. So that's all I did here. And while it's loading, we'll wait. And I think PJ is trying to connect with us here so we can talk about this weekend's action.
The important thing is, because last week, I don't know if you top Manny Machado and Fernando.
I've got one.
You got one?
I've got one. Absolutely. Okay. I know exactly what I'm going to hit PJ with. And
Boo Nix? No, we used that one.
No, it's relevant. It's topical. All right, I don't know, Gino. Like it's rebooted now, so if you want to try that again, maybe now. Like we really should apologize to anybody that listens. This is normally not how things go, and it's a peek behind the curtain when you realize we don't have a phone screener. We don't have a producer.
Not getting a dial tone.
Okay. Let's do this. We'll regroup, take a break, come back. We'll try to get PJ Glasser on with us. If not, we'll have some takes on tap. And Alex Brasky, the Batavia Daily News, is going to join us here in less than an hour as well. More in the Sports Bar on the way. The Fan Rochester.
Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with your favorite teams from across the country and get the inside scoop from experts. AUDACY. Odyssey.
I really don't like my furniture.
I hate that for you.
I'm gonna go get a new sectional and dining room set.
Where are you gonna go?
Have you heard about that store with the lowest prices on signature design sofas, bedroom sets, and dining room furniture?
You mean the one with that awesome guy that says Johnny Boxspring Furniture and Mattress?
You sound just like him.
I wanna be him.
I love that for you.
Johnny Boxspring Furniture and Mattress, 2105 Buffalo Road, Westmar Plaza Gates.
Johnny Boxspring Furniture and Mattress.
You sound just like the girl that answers the phone.
Oh, gotta go.
Follow your heart to a $199 lease deal from Vision Hyundai. Just $199 a month. Lease is the 23 Hyundai Kona SEL all-wheel drive for 36 months. Plus, every Hyundai comes with America's best warranty, 10 years, and a 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and Hyundai Assurance. Call 888-747-0516 for details. 3 locations, 3 times the selection. Follow your heart to VisionHyundaiRochester.com.
Paid actors represent actual clients. After my car accident, I called my attorneys, the Barnes firm, to see if I had a case. They got me $800,000.
I'm Rich Barnes. Do you have a
Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
I leave for 2 hours. I can't leave you kids alone.
So it's my fault, and I'll explain. And I don't even know if PJ can relate to this at all. PJ Glasser is joining us here on the Sports Bar, Danger and Battaglia. You know how back in the day when you had phone cords, like telephones hardwired into your house and in your office, and you had the coily cord, the phone cord,
yeah.
Right. My OCD comes out when I see a coily cord like that's really like knotted up, mangled, and twisted.
Was this one that way? Or?
I saw it yesterday because you left and you gave me the phone and I looked at it and it was driving me nuts. So I unplugged it and I untwisted it so that it would be straight and not all tangled and mangled. And I must have plugged it in to the wrong input on the back of the phone. And now I'm an ass. It's my fault.
No, that Danger, you're showing great accountability. That's what
I'll
you're
admit
doing,
my
right?
mistakes, but my intention was pure. Well, it was really selfish because it's my OCD. It's my thing that it drives me nuts when I see that. PJ, do you even know what I'm talking about? Have you ever even used a hard line telephone in your life?
I can't say that I have, Danger. I can't say that I have. I know. Maybe like a hotel. Maybe like a hotel or something like that.
Right, but you're not touching a hotel phone without salad tongs and a hazmat suit. So, you're not going anywhere near that. PJ, thank you for being patient with us while we, as a couple of cavemen here, club at the phone and try to get technology to work in our favor. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's been going on in the wild card round here, Major League Baseball's postseason. But man, there was somebody that was playing last night. I believe he was a catcher for the Phillies. It was just, all season. He's just so athletic. He's just a really, really
Who is this guy
good
you're talking
player. His name escapes me. PJ, you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, guys, he's a good one. Our friend JT Real Muto. I was wondering where we were going today. I was wondering if we were going to go a little Mark Trumbo. If you guys want to talk some golf.
Don't spoil it.
Shambo.
Don't spoil it, PJ. We've got a lot of weeks to talk to you. We have
a lot of weeks.
Yeah,
we got a lot of time, and we can't blow it all in 1 week in one hit, PJ. So let's space it out a little bit. But thank you for humoring us. And at this point, well, look, you exist for far more than just humoring Gene and I. But we always get a kick out of the Baltimore accent, and we wanted to start with you with that wild card round. I've got some ideas and some thoughts of the 4 series that are happening right now, but what about you? And let's start with the game that's underway right now in Texas and Tampa. PJ, I kind of thought from the beginning of the series, this is Texas's series, and they get the win yesterday. Right now, it looks like they got a runner in scoring position at the top of the third here with no score. What's your take on this series?
Yeah, I was with you, Danger. I kind of like Texas as well. It feels like we see this in the wild card every year where there's one division where kind of 2 teams are like high 90s or low 100 wins. That was the AL East this year with the Orioles and the Rays. And then whoever ends up playing the wild card round, it always seems like they're a struggle for them. Texas obviously was one of the best teams in baseball for like the first 3-4 months of the season. And you just wonder, like, when are these injuries going to catch up with Tampa? Maybe it just never does. Maybe it happens this round. Rays were terrible yesterday, committed 4 errors. They have their guy, Zach Eflin, on the mound today. But I do like Texas. I'm with you, Danger. Whether they get it done today or they get it done tomorrow, I do think they move on to take on the Orioles.
Yeah, one of your plays of the day, too, you don't think, maybe this ends up being the Marlins in the end, but you certainly like Philadelphia's offense tonight at home against Miami.
I do. Yeah, the Phillies guys, I think obviously the National League, it's going to be tough for somebody to beat the Braves. If there's a team outside of Atlanta, though, that I think can make it, and the Dodgers obviously had a great season, I think it's Philadelphia. They beat them last year. That lineup is still awesome. And if they're going to get pitching performances like they did last night from Zach Wheeler, that's going to be a dangerous, dangerous team. One of the toughest environments to go into and play is Citizens Bank in October. So I'm expecting a higher scoring game tonight. Like you said, Gene, the over-under is at 8. I think the Phillies offense will score some more runs, and I think the Marlins offense will get going. They started to get some momentum in those late innings in the 7th, 8th inning. So I think we get a higher scoring game tonight. I would take the over.
Will Minnesota advance? I mean, they're at home. They get the win yesterday. What's your take on Minnesota-Toronto, PJ?
So we're kind of all looking for, like, who's going to be that team that nobody's talking about that maybe could make a deep run in the postseason, guys. I think maybe the Twins are potentially that team, because they played in the AL Central and nobody probably watched them for, like, the final 2-3 months of the season. People kind of checked out on the Twins, but they kind of check a lot of boxes of what you're looking for in October. They have the starting pitching. We saw it yesterday with Pablo Lopez. Sonny Gray's going today. They have Joe Ryan. Their offense is good enough. And, man, have they suffered as a franchise. Yesterday they finally got rid of that 18-game losing streak. But the Blue Jays are a good team. As you guys know, being in that area, it just feels like they've kind of underachieved this year, like they've been stuck in neutral all season. I think the Twins win today. I think they move on to play Houston. The Astros are obviously the standard in baseball right now and have been the last 5 or 6 years, so that's going to be a tough series. But I do like the Twins moving forward, and I think they're undervalued right now. If you're looking to take a flyer on a team, I would take a look at Minnesota.
Yeah, PJ, I want to ask you about the one remaining series. And last night, okay, Milwaukee's up 3-0. You can't lose at home in a 3-game series with Corbin Burns on the mound up 3-0. That's what happened to Milwaukee last night. And Arizona sending out Zach Gallen tonight. And folks not familiar with Arizona, they're a spunky little team. Do the Diamondbacks get this done tonight, PJ?
I don't think they get it done tonight, Gene, but I do think they win Game 3 tomorrow. Like you said, Corbin Burns, if you're a Milwaukee fan, you're up 3-0, he's on the mound, you like your chances to win that game. But to your point, Arizona, it's almost like they're one of those teams that they're so young, they just don't know any better. They're a team just filled with rookies and young players, and what a performance that was last night. Zach Gallen, we know the story with him. He's been awesome at home this season, hasn't been the same on the road. So I think traveling to and pitching in Milwaukee tonight with Freddie Peralta has been really good for Milwaukee. They left 11 runners on base last night, fellas, so they easily had a chance to score more than 3 runs. They had bases loaded with no out in the 6th inning, couldn't score. I like the Brewers to bounce back tonight and get the win, but I like Arizona in Game 3.
He is PJ Glasser, the host of Send It In, BetQL. You can hear it in the Odyssey app, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you get your shows. PJ, let's talk college football, Saturday's action, and we've got a good matchup in the SEC between Alabama and A&M that you like.
I do, guys. This is going to be a great game. It's crazy to think, right? I mean, in the last decade, how many times Alabama headed into October and they might be done when it comes to the college football playoff and maybe even the SEC West as well. I like the under in this game, guys, at 46.5. A&M is one of the best teams in the country at getting after the quarterback. Alabama struggles to protect Jalen Milroe. And then on the flip side, Bama's defense has been really good this season. I think Alabama's better than people think they are, than their perception around them, just because this Bama team isn't what we're used to a Bama team being. That still doesn't mean this team isn't good. They played their best game of the year last week against Mississippi State. Milroe looked much better. But I think A&M pulls it off. I think they win the game, guys. I like the under, though. 46.5 is my favorite play.
All right, PJ, I'm trying to think, am I being a sharp here or a square? And this is my read on Georgia, Kentucky. One game we'll be watching. Folks not familiar with Kentucky, they're 5-0. And where I'm seeing right now, they're 14.5 underdogs in this game against Georgia. And it almost is saying, hey, this is going to be it's a conference game. Come on in, put your money here on Kentucky. PJ, I'm inclined to just lay the 14.5. Am I crazy, or am I actually closer to being a sharp here?
Gene, I'm with you on Georgia. This is the buy low spot, fellas. They're 0-5 against the spread this season, so clearly they were being overvalued in the market, right? 2-time defending champions. You thought it would just kind of be the same story. Hasn't been the case. We've seen them struggle against South Carolina. Saw it last week against Auburn. But Kirby's too good of a coach. They have too much talent. Eventually, they're going to put it together all 4 quarters. They're going to get off to a hot start. Being at home against a good opponent in Kentucky who just ran for 350 yards against Florida last week, I think it's a good buy low spot on Georgia, fellas. So I like the Bulldogs. Gene, I'm with you. I'd lay at 14.5.
Georgia Tech and Miami in the ACC. Why are you interested in this one, PJ?
Guys, this is the spots I look for in college football. Georgia Tech, were 3 touchdown favorites last week to Bowling Green. They were looking ahead to Miami. They lost that game outright. I love when teams have look-ahead spots. They lose outright. We get more value on a team. Georgia Tech isn't that bad. They should be like 16.5, 17-point dogs in this game. Instead, they're 20.5. Miami's got North Carolina next week. Miami might be the best team in the ACC, guys. I know what Florida State's done the first month of the year, but Miami's defense is really good. Van Dyke's playing awesome at quarterback. They got skill position weapons all over the field. Watch out for Miami potentially as a team when we're talking college football playoff, But Georgia Tech's going to hang around in this game. They're going to keep it within the 3 touchdowns.
PJ Glasser, you hear him as part of the BetQL network every day. Send it in. Our guest here in the sports bar. Switching over to the NFL, PJ, as far as the Buffalo Bills here, look, that was as impressive a regular season game they're coming off of, both offensively and defensively. But now you get this whole other set of challenges. You're going over to London, and you're facing a Jaguar team that, well, they won there last week, and Jacksonville didn't have to travel. And you're playing in this new stadium, a new environment here. And by the way, Buffalo always seems to have issues here with Jacksonville. So do you feel comfortable enough laying the 5.5 with the Buffalo Bills, or is this a spot where the Bills regress a little bit?
Yeah, guys, the Jags, I like them plus 5.5. This is one of my upsets of the week. I like Jacksonville plus 200. Like, what a tough spot for the Bills, right? You get up for that game against Miami. Everybody's talking about Miami. Come into your house, and you just dominate them really from the second quarter on. Allen and the offense were tremendous. He's now the favorite to win MVP. But like from a scheduling standpoint, Buffalo's now got to travel across the pond. They got to get adjusted to the British time while the Jags are already out there. They played against the Falcons. They're going through their routines. Their body clocks are adjusted. And it just feels like the Bills have put together 3 really good performances against Vegas, Washington, and Miami, while Jacksonville the past 3 weeks, offense struggled against Kansas City. Last week, it was just it was okay against Atlanta. And then, of course, you lose as big favorites to Houston. You guys know I love my sell high, buy low spots. This just feels like one of those games. So I like the Jags plus 5.5. And I think there's a chance they win this game as well against Buffalo.
Ravens-Steelers, where the Steelers' offense is a mess. We don't really know if it's going to be Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky. At least I haven't heard of anything official out of Pittsburgh. But it's always intriguing when these two teams in the AFC North match up, PJ. Which way are you leaning?
Guys, I saw a tremendous stat this morning from somebody on Twitter. Mike Tomlin, in the last 10 years, 9 instances where the Steelers have lost by 20 or more points. The following week, they have come back. They are 9-0 straight up, 9-0 against the spread. Wow. That tells me a couple things. That tells me, one, Tomlin's a really good coach, and that tells me when the Steelers have a bad performance, they tend to bounce back. And as bad as it was last week for Pittsburgh, guys, if they win this week against Baltimore, they're in first place in the AFC North, and they head into their bye week and they can get healthy. And that's the thing about the NFL. We react so much week to week. Everybody thinks Zach Wilson might be a good quarterback right now, right? Like, that's how it goes week after week. So it's Steelers-Ravens. Anytime you get a chance to take a home dog in this rivalry, anything above the 3, you just got to take it. Kenny Pickett came out about an hour ago, said he's going to play in this game. I like Pittsburgh plus 4.
Yeah, there's only one thing that we can say consistently. That's the Bears suck.
Thanks, Gene.
Yeah, no, that's about it.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
Sorry, Danger.
PJ, last one for me, and it's on the Houston Texans here. That a fun team, rookie quarterback, not doing rookie things here. And you look at their schedule, it's like, boy, they could pick up some W's here. Maybe this is the surprise team here, or is everybody overvaluing Houston here? How do you view this from a betting standpoint, Houston and Atlanta this week?
Gentlemen, this is one of my favorite bets of the week. This is one of those games that's a pick 'em, but I think if you ask 8 to 10 people who they think is better, who they would like to win the game this week, it's Houston. And how can you not like Houston after the way Stroud's looking, the 2 performances they've put together back-to-back? The point is, Desmond Ridder has made 8 starts in the NFL. He's 4-0 at home. He's 0-4 on the road. Everybody's freaking out because Atlanta's lost the last 2 games. I don't know why they're doing that. Desmond Ridder stinks on the road, but he's back at home this week. I think the Falcons get the run game going. I think this line should be more Atlanta -3. But like you said, these 2 teams are going in opposite directions. It's a good buy low spot on the Falcons. I think they win this week.
PJ, tell us about Send It In on the BetQL network.
So, guys, it's at 1 o'clock Eastern time now instead of 1:30. It moved up. It's still a 30-minute show, fast-paced. We love the fan interaction. People chime in and give out their comments and their best bets. So make sure you join us. It's on Twitch. It's on YouTube, on Twitter as well. And it's fast-paced. We go through a little bit of everything. So make sure you join us on Send It In.
To keep it fast-paced, we forgot there, Coach Prime. How could we forget about Coach Prime? What do you see Colorado doing against Arizona State?
This is the upset of the week, guys. Colorado for 5 straight weeks has been the talk of the world, talk of social media. I bet listeners right now don't even know who Colorado's playing this week, which means their team is not getting up for Arizona State. It's a great letdown for the Buffs. Sun Devils outright plus 165.
Ooh. Wow.
Yep.
Whoa.
Bo Jackson, who was in here yesterday, was talking about his trip to Arizona State here against USC a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. PJ, you're the best. Appreciate the insight. Let's get some winners. Good luck this weekend, buddy.
Good talking to you guys. I'll see you next week.
Thanks,
God,
PJ.
he is so patient to deal with us and our crap. I mean, we owe you all an apology because the technical issues we were dealing with because of my stupidity, that we're better than that. I'm a little disappointed in ourselves. And PJ, God bless that guy, patient with his good, gracious with his time.
It's comical. I never thought that somebody would have taken the phone extension off there.
Yeah, the cord.
The cord, yeah.
Nobody deals with cords anymore. But when I see a cord and it's all twisted up and mangled, it's just a weird thing. It always drove me nuts.
Is that too twisted up?
No,
there?
that's fine. That's
fine.
not what it looked like yesterday. It was like all twisted up and looked like it looked knotted. And I'm like, this is driving me crazy. So I did to the phone what I always used to do to phones, which is just unplug it, unwind the cord, let it straighten out a little bit, and then plug it back in. Well, when I plugged it back in, I plugged it into the wrong input. Sorry, Gino. That's on me.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. We figured it out. I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, are we going to just do a whole show and not be able to dial out and talk to people today?
Bear with us. It can only get better from how that segment started. PJ is digging us out of the hole. We appreciate him for that. And Alex Brasky will continue to do so next hour here from the Batavia Daily News and Bills Digest. We'll get some news and notes from One Bills Drive as he was at practice today as the team prepares for that trip to London.
I just had something come across my feed here. Somebody who does the composite rankings of offensive lines. Team with the worst offensive line right now. New England. That's supposed to be their bread and butter. They're going to be physical and everything else.
They're a mess.
Oh, can I just have a take? And every Bills fan will just eat this up. Where do the Patriots go from here? Oh, they made a trade. Jackson's coming back.
Jackson, yeah.
Oh yeah, everything's going to be fine.
He's so important and so valuable that he was made a healthy scratch with his former team. Ay. Bring him back. Go ahead.
Yeah, got takes on that. And then yesterday was special, and then went out to dinner, and that's when things went sideways. Would I actually put a local restaurant on blast? I may, actually.
A local restaurant?
Well.
In the crosshairs of Gene Battaglia.
I don't know. I mean,
I've got a few plays.
Because you're in the danger zone.
Can't help myself. I've got to scratch that itch. Major League Baseball's postseason is underway. We had some plays yesterday. We'll take a step into the danger zone, and I'll give you my picks for tonight's action, this afternoon's action as well. I'll drink to that is coming up. We'll have some takes on tap, and Alex Brasky joining us as well here in the Sports Bar. Danger and Battaglia on the Fan Rochester.
Tickets for your favorite teams and more. You can find
9BF Rochester, the sports leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The Fan, Rochester. Sports update.
For the 11th time in his career, Josh Allen named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. The Bills working out in full pads today as they get ready for their trip to London tomorrow. Head coach Sean McDermott asked if Jacksonville actually has a home field advantage.
No, I think they've practiced. I think they've played, a number of times in the stadium that we're going to play. I don't know, but in the films that I've watched, it seems like there's multiple games of them in this same stadium. So, I guess the advantage goes to them.
Tottenham Hotspur, the stadium in question. Alex Brasky will join us next here this hour in the Sports Bar. Baseball playoffs, Adolis Garcia has just homered. Texas up on the Rays 1-0. Just underway. It's Minnesota and Toronto. The Sabres sending down Yuri Kulik and Isak Razin. Brett Murray also coming back, but he needs to clear through waivers. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, the Fan, Rochester.
The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia.
So Vaughn will practice today. His 21-day window will start.
I think they're really focused and trying to own in on the Jaguars because this could be a letdown week. That's what I'm nervous about.
If you're a Bills fan, you're fearful of the same thing that Jaguars fans are fearful of. Josh Allen.
Mike Danger.
Jacksonville presents all sorts of challenges for the Buffalo Bills. The biggest challenge, or one of the challenges at least, is the travel. It's getting out of that routine. What is it about this Jaguars team that makes you nervous going in? And do you think that this goes the way it's been going for these two teams when they face off against each other? Tight, competitive, and really kind of a toss-up situation.
Gene Battaglia.
There shouldn't be all this animosity against Jacksonville, but this is it's a tough spot. I'm going to reserve my judgment until later in the week, but Danger, I have concerns just based on the recent history of the Bills here. And based on the fact that you've got this wonky travel schedule and everything else that you're kind of throwing into it.
Randy Gregory, J.C. Jackson.
Let us start the show with some baseball.
95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Yeah, we sure do appreciate you joining us to talk sports here in the Flower City every afternoon from 3 to 6. Welcome on into the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia. Thanks for checking us out on the video stream at The Fan Rochester on YouTube and Twitch. We sound our best in the free-to-download Odyssey app. We'll be joined later this hour from Alex Brasky, joined by Alex Brasky from the Batavia Daily News and Bills Digest. He's got his report from practice today. It's the practice that we saw Von Miller on the field for the first time.
Yeah, and not mentioning the update, the injury report, because, I don't know, Wednesday injury report doesn't really tell you much. No. Well, I think this is telling because Vaughn went on his Voncast last night and said, hey, I want to play. And Vaughn went in front of reporters today and said he wanted to play, said so much. And he's Von Miller. He's going to do what he wants to do. And today he was limited. Not a full practice participant. You're just kind of working him in slowly. There's no way you're going to 2 limited practices and then go on over there, Vaughn. The Bills can compete in this game. I'll put it this way, Danger. Whether the Bills win or lose in this game, it does not come down to anything with Von Miller, whether he plays or not.
Let's get to some takes here in the Sports Bar. It's time for a little take space. I'll drink to that, Gino.
So what's the story that J.C. Jackson's getting dealt back to New England? It's kind of funny, right? He was inactive, makes a lot of money for the Chargers, and all the Patriots are just grasping at straws right now. They're a mess. They are a total mess. Hate to see it. By hate to see it, I mean you love to see it. And here's what you need to know. 30. The number 30. Why do I bring that up? That's how many wins head coach Bill Belichick needs to pass Don Shula. Belichick, someone who loves the history of this league. He collects 1940s and 50s football cards, okay? We all know this is what he's hanging on for. But this is a Patriot team. You look at it right now, and we just threw that stat. According to one measurement, they have the worst offensive line in the league. Mac Jones ain't it, okay? Somebody tell me that he's it. There are no other options for them at quarterback. The best thing Belichick can do, actually, and for the team and for himself, okay, is to walk away. Chill out on Nantucket for a year. Just take in the sun. Maybe you repair your relationship with what's her name. Regardless, yes, you will have plenty of opportunities, believe it or not, to get back in. The year, just imagine this, it's 2025. Will the Giants be looking for a new head coach? Tell you what, if Brian Daboll doesn't take a step forward in 2024, yes. The Jets, they're perpetually in need of a head coach. Wouldn't that be ironic? There will be opportunities. And the noise, what is happening in New England, it's just going to get louder and louder as the season goes along. And that's how I see this kind of playing out, that I think this is it for Belichick in New England.
He's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere.
Well, that's even better for Bills fans.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have a hard time seeing him stepping away when he's this close to being the all-time winningest head coach. I have a hard time seeing him step away knowing that he's kind of earned the right to go out on his own terms. You know what I'm saying? You win that many Super Bowls, and I think that might be the agreement in place between he and Kraft. Like, hey, look, when I'm ready to go, I'll go. But until then, you got to trust me. Now, it's not working. And it's becoming more and more clear, and we talked about this on Monday, that the Patriot way is dead. Everything that he talked about, everything that he talked about sounded great because you had Tom Brady. You had the GOAT. You had the greatest quarterback of all time anchoring your team. And without that, you're just a guy, man. He's just another defensive-minded head coach. He could be Coach P. Like, honestly, like that's who he could be when you take away the greatest quarterback of all time. So I think he stays. I think he doesn't go anywhere. And I think it's ugly, and I think it makes Patriot fans upset, but who cares? Honestly, I hope you enjoyed the time while you had it. That's a dynasty that's going to be hard for other franchises and organizations to match. This is the payment. Payment is due.
You're the back of the line now for a long, long time, because the problem is with Belichick chasing this. Most teams would be like, all right, let's kind of like tear down, play younger players. No. Well, let's go screw the cap up a little bit more and bring back J.C. Jackson.
Now, they did get a deal. I mean, like, the Chargers are going to pay a big bulk of his salary this year, which is like the Chargers spending all that money on J.C. Jackson must have made Belichick laugh when that actually happened. And he just hasn't been a performer for them. Just has not healthy, largely a bust as a free agent there, and a cautionary tale to anybody that wants to spend big in free agency. J.C. Jackson would certainly be on top of that list. So you were off yesterday. Bo Jackson came in for the 2 hours.
Can
yesterday.
I just say thank you to Bo for coming in?
He's the best, man. Bo is great.
He's just the kind of like get to know him a little bit. He's just a lovable guy, like you have a beer with.
Absolutely,
that's who he is.
Loved having him in here yesterday, but it's good to have you back, and I want to know a little bit more about Senior Day.
Yeah, so Senior Day was fun. It was hot for those kids running yesterday. So we figured, all right, you know what? Let's make it a day. When am I home on a weekday? Never. So, which also, for everybody driving, I'm driving at 4 o'clock. I'm like, oh.
You never do that.
No, I never do that. I'm like, this sucks. This is traffic. What is this all? Like, oh, okay. So normally what would take me maybe 15 minutes was a little bit longer to get up to Basil Morella Park in Greece. And all right, so Senior Day's over. They do the stuff. It was great. Pictures, everything. Like, you know what? Let's go out to dinner.
Who's deciding where to go?
Well, me, and part of it, and I told you where we went, and you were like, why would you go there? We went to Outback Steakhouse on West Ridge Road. Why did we do that, Dave?
Crikey!
Why did we do that? Because I had a gift certificate.
Ah.
You're always kind of lured in. All right. We got the credit here.
Yeah, that's good.
Is this too much to ask? We get there at 7:30. We might have been the last one seated that night. And
was there how long is the wait? Because every time I've ever been to a chain restaurant, there's a wait. It's just a given. You're going to wait.
The only wait was because they needed to get our table ready. So
Okay.
no reservations, just walk right in. It was like 1 minute. Okay,
good.
Kind of going there. There's nobody around us, and where they seat us, dirty dishes everywhere. Not a table around us was picked up. I understand the world is short-staffed. I get that. We're short-staffed. You could just hear us before trying to figure out the phone. I get that, okay? But is it too much, Mr. and Miss Server, to go back not empty-handed? You're walking back to the kitchen. Can you pick this up? What is it like having that experience with dirty dishes all around you? The motto for Outback Steakhouse, no rules? Wrong. No. I'm going to make a rule. Let's make a new rule. Rule number 1, pick up the damn dirty dishes.
You wanted so badly to say this at the restaurant last night. This is your outlet. This is your outlet.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like
you just see the Battaglia family sitting in the dining room table by themselves, surrounded by filth. Just surrounded by flies buzzing around you, buzzards circling overhead. You've got dirty dishes everywhere, a half-eaten blooming onion.
It's like the servers are just walking by, like just kind of looking at it, like not my problem, not my problem.
Well, not my problem. And by the way, I expect 20% on top of that, pal. So just make sure you're generous with that tip.
For the record, I tip 20%, so nobody can come back at me from Outback on the take.
Is it me, or does tipping feel a little out of control right now?
Well, the tipping. Here's my part about tipping that I can't stand. Like, I'm going up to say you're at a game.
Yeah.
And, okay, I'm paying with a credit card, which that's how you have to pay now. How much would you like to tip? For what?
Yeah.
You poured a beer.
Right.
Nothing.
Two waters, please. Oh, you grabbed the waters out of the cooler. Here's 20%. No, 20% is a lot, man. And look, I will say this. I respect the hell out of anybody that's in the service industry. I don't want your job. You guys are great at what you do, unless you're not picking up your dirty dishes. But, and I'll always be fair, but when did it become our job to offer them a fair wage? That's on the big company, right? That's on Outback or the restaurant owner or whatever it is, right? Like, start them with a wage where they aren't expecting 20% on a tip just to be able to. Well, everything is more expensive now, and gratuity on top of it. It's like, oh God.
No, but the funny thing, Danger, is it used to be 15%. 15%. You did a good job. Here's 15%. You just do the math quickly in your head. Now somehow that has gone up to 20, and I've seen things up 25.
Can't do it.
No, it's.
You had a bad experience at a chain restaurant. I always prefer going to the local places first. Obviously, there is one chain restaurant that will
Chick-fil-A.
never fast food. I get what you're saying.
All right,
not going to say anything. And this, by the way, if my Italian in-laws heard me say this, I might get disowned from the family. Talk to me about the OG. Talk to me about the Olive Garden.
No.
Because you know what? The Olive Garden never disappoints. It always satisfies, and it starts with the unlimited salad and breadsticks. It starts with the unlimited salad and breadsticks, and it ends with a tiramisu that will rival anybody's. Talk to me about the OG, Gino.
I haven't been there in 25 years, and I think the reason why is because we have so many good Italian restaurants.
Yes, we
in
do.
Rochester.
Yes, we do.
I mean, I guess if I'm on the road stuck somewhere, I would consider it.
Did you go as a kid?
No.
I went as a kid. See, maybe it's because I grew up,
right.
and going to the Olive Garden when I was a kid was a big, big deal. Like, if you go to the Olive Garden, like, ooh, you're fancy. That's a fancy night out. And I just, every time I go, I'm like, unlimited salad, unlimited breadsticks, yes, please.
I guess they must be doing something right because they've been here, and like we are.
And
like
they say it. When you're here, you're family. How do you not love going to a place that says that right up front? When you're here, you're family. I remember when I moved to Rochester, and this is the other restaurant that I've at. Mario's was awesome. You're not just here. You're
my
special guest,
yeah.
right? Like, you're not just a friend. You're my special guest. Like, I love that welcoming kind of, like, even if it's not real and you get greeted with somebody with a scowl on their face because they're miserable that they're working service industry at Olive Garden, I still love going there, man. If the Olive Garden is an option, I'm taking it. Not over the many, many great restaurants, Italian restaurants we have in Rochester, because there are many of them and everyone delivers. But when the kids were little, that was where they wanted to go. I think they lure you in when you're young.
Well, the one where the kids used to love when we were going, because the bird would walk around and the fries were unlimited, was Red Robin. But then at some point, Red Robin's like, yeah, you know what? We don't want to do the kid thing. We're burgers and brews, Red Robin. I'm like, but you still have the red. Yeah.
Pretty good burger at Red Robin.
No, I'm not going to dispute that.
Not a bad burger.
But they changed it up
Not
there.
a bad burger. All right, Gino, I can't help myself. I'm a glutton for punishment. All I do is talk about how poorly I performed this year in Major League Baseball. It kicked my ass. I'm not going to lie. The regular season was rough, but we're in the postseason.
I've got an itch that needs to be scratched. I've got some plays for today's action in the Major League Baseball wild card round.
Because you're in the danger zone.
And I'll say this. I made these picks before we got on the air at 3 o'clock. So right now I look like a genius because I picked the Rangers to advance to the ALDS. And we discussed it yesterday with the wild variance of baseball here. If I can get plus money on a good team like Texas, which I have, I will take it. Rangers in 2 right now. Rangers up 4-0, top of the 5th against the Rays. By the way, pathetic, embarrassing showing by Rays fans. And I can say that because I know if there are Rays fans, there aren't any Rays fans listening. How many? 19,000 for a playoff game?
Oh, terrible. Is there like one Ray fan in Rochester? I'm going to guess that is like the one team we don't. Why would you be a Rays fan?
Disgusting. All right, so look, I use the same logic here where you can get plus money on a good team. I used that same logic in the Toronto-Minnesota series yesterday. Gino, you missed it. I master-stroked the Blue Jays. As soon as I picked them to win on the money line against Minnesota yesterday, literally 5 seconds after I said I like Toronto, 2-run dong, Minnesota takes a 2-0 lead. I had to explain the curse of masterstroke to Bo Jackson. I gave the whole routine. Anyways, I can't see Toronto digging out against Sonny Gray, who's held the Jays' active hitters in check here. Jose Barrios had a rough end to the regular season, back-to-back outings of 4 earned runs. His former team gets over. The Twinkies advance to the ALDS. Give me a no-run first inning in Minnesota as well. Total for this game has dropped a run. I think they can navigate through the top of the order. We also cashed a no-run first inning bet on the Marlins-Phillies matchup last night. I'm going to go back to that well with Braxton Garrett and Aaron Nola on the mound. And the Brewers even up against Arizona tonight. Freddie Peralta's on the mound for Milwaukee. He'll be facing Arizona for the first time this season, which gives him a little bit of an advantage. Zach Gallen is alternated between strong and poor outings, a 4.17 ERA over the last month. I like the Brewers to even the series.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Lana. What? Danger zone.
All right, so were you watching the monitor? Because, like, honestly, look now.
Texas scored again.
Yeah, it's 5-0.
Yeah.
So
Texas is running away with this one.
You're okay. Reaction coming in on the tip thing here, Danger. And has this ever happened to you? Like, you put down the tip, and then the server changes, like, the number on it, like, from the 1 to a 2.
No, I've never seen that.
Yep. Happened to my father.
No kidding.
Yep. Like, and since that point, I'm like, holy cow. So I keep my receipts when you're actually tipping somebody.
I do remember one time, and I still feel really, really bad about this. I do remember one time at a bar leaving a tip that was so small that I actually got challenged by it. Like, the person was like, was there something wrong with the service?
Ooh.
When you hear that, it's like, now I feel terrible. And I think I was probably drunk, or I didn't want to do the math, and I just scratched out whatever the number was, and it wasn't a very high number. And every time I think of that confrontation, sir, was there something wrong with the service? I look back, I'm like, no, I don't remember there being anything wrong with the service. I just remember not tipping properly.
I'm not going to say this, but this is an honest to true story. And if you're watching right now on Twitch or YouTube, I'm putting my hand across my heart. There is a restaurant in town, which I'm not dragging them into this. True story, though. Their servers keep a book on tips. And if there is a regular in there that does not tip, then guess what kind of happens to the service?
Oh, I hate to know that there's a restaurant that does that.
Yeah.
Not only what happens to the service, what happens to the food? Oh, you're not going to tip us? Yeah, enjoy this food.
Oh, you want a refill? I'll get to you in a little bit.
Yeah. We'll give you we'll serve you a refill. We'll get this water out of the men's room. Go ahead, enjoy, cheapskate.
But do you want to be known as the horrible tipper?
No, I don't. But I hate that we're at a place where it's 20%. I hate that these guys that work their asses off in the service industry don't get a fair wage and have to rely on tips, and it's on us now, not the owner or the big franchise restaurant. It's not on them to say, you know what, let's pay a little bit more so that they can actually live off of something other than tips.
The other thing too is the service fee. Have you encountered that? That's the one where, okay, here, wait a second, you're charging me to use a credit card. I didn't know this was.
Oh, if you truly hate money, continue to use DoorDash and the like. I mean, like that's the other one too. Like I get the convenience part of it, and that's fun and fine. But every time my kid says she wants to order DoorDash, I'm like, you hate money. Do you hate money because you have to pay more for this and more for that, and then you have to do the tip on all of it? Like, no. The answer is no. You can do whatever you want with your money, but no, not happening.
Get in your car and go pick up the food.
That will work.
Yeah,
sure will.
Or just on your way home, grab it. Yeah.
We'll get to Alex Brasky here and back to the Buffalo Bills. He covers the team for Bills Digest, the Batavia Daily News. At practice today, Alex has some news and notes from One Bills Drive, and he'll join us next in the Sports Bar. Danger and Battaglia, the Fan, Rochester.
Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with your favorite teams from across the country and get the inside scoop from experts. AUDACY. Odyssey.
Ben Weitzman of Rochester wants your medal. That's right, we want your
Pull up a stool and join us. 585-866-4FAN. 866-432-6. The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
Von Miller, first ballot Hall of Famer. The juice that he brings for the guys, the trust that everybody has in him. He's the ultimate closer. So whenever he's ready to go, we're going to welcome him with open arms and put him back there, and hopefully he can pin his ears back and get the quarterback. But our guys have been doing such a good job. I don't want to take anything away from the guys that have been playing. Bringing in Flo and the guys that are playing well, Greg and AJ, are stepping up, and interior guys are playing really well too. So it's a very, very good unit, adding a very, very good player, one of the greatest player.
It's Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Oh, I'm sorry, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, Josh Allen, talking about his teammate Von Miller, who returned to practice today. Are we having a day?
We're having a day here, and this is a new one. Alex Brasky, Batavia News, text me. Gene, my phone is currently dead.
How's he texting you?
I'll get to that. My phone is currently dead. It's taking a while for it to charge. I'm messaging you from my computer. We'll text you as soon as it turns on. It's been on the charger for about 10 minutes and hoping so.
His phone is dead. Like dead. It's not like he needs to be charged. It's like you killed your phone, Alex.
Yeah, and so I just texted him back saying, okay, do me a favor and call us. Here's the hotline. And you know how it'll tell you if it's delivered? Not
nothing.
Delivered.
Oh, because you don't know. You're sending it to his phone, and his phone is off, so he's not even seeing.
He's not even seeing.
All right, so look, we'll. Oh man.
Well, I can tell you about the injury report here because I think this is newsworthy.
Sure.
Or maybe do you want to play the role of Alex Brasky? I can interview you.
I cannot replace Alex Brasky.
No, you would come
I can't stand in those shoes.
So Gene, how the Yankees finished above 500. How did the Mets do? Oh, you're fired the manager.
No, I'm not going to play that role today.
No, not.
We'll wait for Alex. If Alex can call us here, that would be great. We'd love to hear his report from practice today. And if not, we'll give you the practice report right now, Gino. What do we got?
So we got some DNPs here: veteran rest for Leonard Floyd and Micah Hyde and Matt Milano. Which you would kind of expect, right? This is a bear of a travel week, but not practicing with a foot injury altogether is Greg Rousseau. So, okay, keep that in mind. So that's the only DNP that was related to an injury. That limited today, Christian Benford with the shoulder, Damian Harris has a neck issue, Dawson Knox, that quad is bothering him. Jordan Poyer limited today with his knee. Now remember, he did not practice at all Thursday, Friday last week with the sore knee. And then I think this is the key thing here. This year, you have to list players that even aren't on the active roster, players that are in this window, meaning Von Miller. So Von Miller, you know the rules now. The Bills have 3 weeks to decide when to activate him. Von Miller was limited with his knee. So when you hear Von Miller talk about, hey, I'm coming back, I feel good, I'm ready to come back, does that not say the Buffalo Bills think otherwise? You cannot send Von Miller onto the field if he gets in, one practice before heading over to London fully?
Not likely. I mean, if history serves, the way the organization has always dealt with these long-term injuries as players are coming back from is a ramp-up period. So you get him in practice for a week, and then 1 week becomes 2 weeks. You see how he feels. You see how he reacts. And if he's there and he's ready to go. The only thing that I was thinking to myself was, Von Miller doing all the talking that he was doing, he wanted to be out there week one, or at least he was saying, I want to be out there and ready to go week one. And when we didn't see him practice at all in the preseason, it became very clear, okay, he's not going to be out there week one. So they've been managing him through the preseason, putting him on PUP. But was there some kind of secret compromise between Miller and Brandon Beane? Like, hey, I'll go on PUP, but I'm going to get out there as soon as I can when I come off a PUP. That's the promise you have to make to me. Because the dude's in shape. Not in football shape, I get it, but you can get Von Miller on the field and ramp him up over the course of time if you see him. I don't think you're going to see him based on the limited tag today, and with everything being out of whack, with the team going to Jacksonville and traveling and being that far out of routine. Maybe more likely that we see him in prime time make his return, which would always be for a great story, and I'm sure the networks appreciate that. If Von Miller will make his first appearance in primetime against the Giants,
I think that NBC would be happy about that because maybe it gives you a reason to tune in. Well, it might not be a close
Can we
game
get Taylor Swift to show up as well? I think NBC would appreciate it if she just, out of the goodness of her heart, made an appearance. No, totally not related to her upcoming movie, I'm sure. Alex Brasky of the Batavia Daily News and Bill's Digest was at practice today. Alex, lots of talk around Von Miller, and we know that you can't watch all of practice, but what's your takeaway from Von Miller's first practice of the regular season?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to apologize for my tardiness, boys. Technology can be a bear sometimes. Had some phone issues leading into our call, but appreciate you having me on, as always. I saw Von Miller today for a good portion of practice, the portion open to the media, as always. I thought he looked well. He looked pretty good. He was wearing a heavy brace on that injured right knee, but did not seem to be inhibited at all. And I asked him after practice if he felt any limitations physically throughout the session, and he said he did not. So I think all signs are pointing in a positive direction for Von Miller. I'm not sure we'll see him this week against Jacksonville. I think that could be a little bit irresponsible considering his circumstances and limited practice time leading into a game overseas. I think it might be more a better idea to do it in a comfortable situation next week against the Giants or perhaps even the week after against the Patriots. So I think he looked good, and I think all signs are pointing in a positive direction for Von Miller off the PUP list.
Yeah, Alex, the injury report, we're just kind of talking about this before, and I get why, especially a week like this, you're going to give guys veterans rest. Christian Benford limited. Greg Rousseau not practicing at all today with a foot issue. Are there any concerns, whether that's Benford, whether that's Rousseau, or anybody else, about their status here coming up for Sunday?
I would say Rousseau's status is certainly more of a concern than Benford's. Benford, we did see him out there at practice in a red non-contact jersey. He was marked as limited after practice with that shoulder injury. Greg Rousseau was the only player outside of Tre'Davious White to miss today's practice due to injury. He is dealing with a foot issue. It's uncertain the extreme nature of that, whether it is of extreme nature or not, for Rousseau. We asked Coach McDermott how he was feeling this morning, and McDermott said that he was pretty sore coming off that foot injury that did appear to occur during the game against, refresh my memory, this past week, the Dolphins. And I would say he is certainly more of a concern than Christian Benford, considering he missed practice, considering Benford was out there in the red non-contact jersey. I wouldn't say you can rule him out quite yet. McDermott did say he'd like to see how he responds tomorrow, but I would certainly weigh some concern on Rousseau moving forward.
Alex, Benford's role gets that much more important here with the news that Trey White tore his Achilles and he'll be done for the season. What's the play here if you're Brandon Beane, and what does this mean for Kaiir Elam? Obviously, I mean, you can't make him inactive at this point, right? You expect that we'll see Elam make his debut against Jacksonville in London?
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Sean McDermott has said all season long that he believes he has three starting caliber players behind Tre'Davious White at that position. And now I guess that theory will be tested with White now out for the year and Jackson likely being thrust into a starting role, and Elam perhaps to see some playing time coming up this week and into the future. McDermott didn't put certainty on it that we will see a rotation at that position, but I would assume we will see one. I think Jackson and Elam were kind of battling back and forth toward the end of training camp for the third role at that position behind Benford, who clearly had separated himself. And Elam has a skill set that I don't think Benford nor Jackson possess in man coverage and the ability to lock up opposing wide receivers. So I think it might be a good tool to use Elam in that rotation along with Jackson and hopefully Benford, who is dealing with that injury, in the starting role.
Yeah, curious to me, and we're talking to Alex Brasky, maybe this is the, Sean McDermott just buying time here and Brandon Beane as far as the roster, because when you look at the injury report and Tre'Davious White's on it, well, duh, he's out for the year. Okay, the Bills haven't made this move yet, so there's going to be somebody added to the roster. Are we to assume that's going to be a defensive back here? Would that just be, if so, is that just promoting Ingram? Is that just from the practice squad? Is it maybe going and seeing who else is on a practice squad elsewhere? How did the Buffalo Bills eventually fill the spot here at Tre'Davious White?
Yeah, I think Ingram's certainly the leader in the clubhouse to take that role. They do need increased depth at the position now, losing a player at that position. But they did bring in a few players on a tryout earlier in the week. They did sign one of them to the practice squad, Herb Miller, previously of the Panthers. So maybe some competition there for White's spot on the roster. But, yeah, I think we'll see them go defensive back to replace White on that 53-man roster and see how things shake out as the season goes along here.
Alex Brasky of the Batavia Daily News of Bills Digest joins us here in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia. On the Fan, for the second time in 3 weeks, Josh Allen is the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Alex, we were talking about it earlier and trying to figure out, when Josh does what he's doing right now, which is fairly remarkable, it doesn't feel like people talk about it as much as they do when Josh stubs his toe like he did in week 1. Is that a function of people only wanting to be angry, only caring when somebody does something wrong versus when they do something right?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen has just brought his standard to just such a high level through his performance over the past number of years that really the only thing to do is criticize him when he underperforms, because when he's at his best, boy, he is, if not the best quarterback in the league, certainly one of the top 2 alongside Patrick Mahomes. You saw him put forth the perfect passer rating leading to the AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors from this past week. He really lit up a Dolphins secondary that was without a few key components, but he's been on fire the past 3 weeks. I don't want to say that a 5 turnover performance against the Jets was a good thing, but perhaps it was in this case, because the way that Allen has rebounded has been incredible. He's returned to his elite form and really has set himself apart amongst maybe any other quarterback in the league over the past 3 weeks. Like I said, perfect against the Dolphins. And when you perform that way time and again, there's really nowhere to go but down, I guess, in people's eyes, and people just wait to pounce on greatness and put chinks in the armor. But boy, for the past 3 weeks, there have not been many chinks in the armor for Josh Allen.
Alex, only the second time the Bills have ever gone to London on the regular season. 2015, nobody has left from that team. It didn't go well for Buffalo that day. Jacksonville winning. So I guess my question is, the pitfalls of this week. And I think it's interesting that I remember from 2015, Alex, that I forget who was playing the day of, but literally the Bills got on a bus and they left for London Sunday night, right from Buffalo. They were home that Sunday. Sean McDermott playing a little bit different. He wants to at least have a normal routine, sort of, but I have to think that once they get on the plane, this week is going to be anything but routine for this team.
Yeah, I think the sports science aspect certainly plays a much larger role in today's NFL than perhaps it did the last time the Bills went over to London to play a game. And McDermott really mentioned that a lot through his comments to the media today. Mentioned Joe Collins, the director of performance and innovation, and how McDermott and the coaching staff has worked alongside the sports science staff to determine the best course of action leading into this week's game. And they've decided that best course of action is leaving Thursday night, flying through the night, hoping to get some sleep on the plane, and then staying up through Friday in order to adjust their body clocks in preparation for that game on Sunday. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I think there is something to be said for maintaining the most amount of time that you can spend in your own bed and in familiar environment as the Bills are to begin this week. You saw the Raiders come over against the Bills, and I think they spent the whole week in West Virginia, and we all saw how that went for the Raiders. So I think there's different ways to go about it, and the sports science department for the Bills has really played a large role in the decision-making process as we go into this game in London.
So their opponent on Sunday is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some would say the Jags have an advantage because they've been there all week. They were there last week in preparation for their win against Atlanta. Some would say they're at a disadvantage because they've been there all week. They're away from their own personal routine. They haven't put their head down in their own beds, and they're probably far away from what they're accustomed to. Which side do you fall on, Alex? Do you think the Jags are at an advantage or disadvantage being there 2 weeks in a row?
In my opinion, I think it would be an advantage at this point. Maybe you do get a little bit homesick, but to have the comfortability with your surroundings and the environment that you've been surrounded by the past few weeks, I think would play at an advantage for Jacksonville. But at the same time, I guess we'll see it play out on the field on Sunday. The Jags come into this game playing a little bit better football as of late, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, and they really started the season rough after their playoff appearance last year. But their pass rusher, the other Josh Allen, has really been a star in the early going. I believe he's tied for the league lead in sacks with 6. He's creating a lot of pressure, and the Bills have faced a number of talented pass rushers early this season, and they've neutralized them, and they'll have another opportunity to do so once again against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I get, and it's only 4 games here, Alex, but the move to Aaron Kromer, and I'm glad you brought up here what the Bills are facing here and the other Josh Allen. This offensive line here, pretty good returns so far, and Torrance seems to be fitting right in here. Your thoughts here on the offensive line, and really has this been kind of the key here over the last 3 games that allows Josh Allen to do what he wants to do?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that is one area that the Bills have made an incredible jump this season, and it all starts with the rookie O'Cyrus Torrance, but don't forget about Connor McGovern coming in and solidifying the other side on the interior, and the steadiness of Mitch Morse, and Deion Dawkins maybe a few slip-ups last year. He's really returned to top form, and Spencer Brown has been impressive as well, and give a lot of credit to Aaron Kromer, but also Ken Dorsey and his game planning and his scheme on offense, going with maybe more 6-7 man protections than he was accustomed to last year, and really bringing in the extra blocker David Edwards on several occasions. I believe the Bills are up there near the top of the league in terms of using that extra offensive lineman, and they've done so to success. And in addition, they put Josh Allen under center, which I know Dan Orlovsky from ESPN was clamoring for after I believe it was week 2, and the use of the play action and the development of the running game as well has been a significant factor. So there's a lot of elements that have helped the Bills' offensive line and pass protection and just push up front overall, improve, and it's really been impressive to see the jump that group has made this year.
Alex, let us know what you're working on here for Bills Digest, the Batavia Daily News. What can we check out here leading up to Sunday morning?
Yeah, we have our midseason review for Bills Digest coming out in a few weeks. I'll be promoting that soon on social media, but as always, my pregame 5 takes on the dailynewsonline.com. Also, my post-game 7 takeaways, along with a quick recap after the game. And you can also follow me on social media at Alex Brasky. Try to give you up-to-date reports from practice and the comings and goings from one Bills drive. It's been an interesting season, and it's only going to get more interesting as the season goes. Teams getting a little bit banged up, so plenty to follow there at Alex Brasky on X, as they say.
What game do you got Friday night here, Alex?
We have Attica Alexander taking on Livonia. Attica Alexander, the defending champ in Section 5 Class C, fell at the hands of perennial power Leroy last week. Leroy was unbeaten. They remain unbeaten. Attica Alexander now with 1 loss. Leroy looking for its first sectional title in quite some time. That's a proud program looking to return to prominence. How about you, boys?
Alex just gave us his open on Friday. That's good, Alex. You had that prepared off the top of your head. That's really sharp.
Oh, no big deal. We got McQuaid Hilton.
Oh, wow. No, yeah. Wow. The big boys, double A.
We don't like to, brag or talk about ourselves here in the sports bar.
I do want to apologize once again for my tardiness, boys.
You missed it while you were doing it. I did imaginary conversation with Alex, like, Gene, the Yankees did finish above 500, and look at your Mets. No, you weren't going to
go that I want. No, I wasn't, but I was going to say that I told you they were bringing Boone back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I'm
feels like a
sorry. I
certain
feel
day.
like I have to apologize to you for that. I'm sorry to you and every other Yankee fan. You know how next year's going to end, dude.
Yep, World Series.
Yeah,
World Series
there he
is
is.
All right,
Alex, appreciate the
bye-bye.
time, buddy. There he is, Alex Brasky, the Batavia Daily News, Bills Digest, Yankee fan.
Glow, man. Genesee, Livingston, Orleans, Wyoming.
Yeah, he likes that Glow region.
Glow
Boy, he
region.
knows what he's talking about down there in the Glow region for Section 5.
Not breaking news, but it's now official because the Bills did lose somebody off their practice squad here. Eli Anku is now a member of the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
So, well, look, that's smart in Atlanta. Hey, we need a defensive lineman. Where are you going to go? You're going to look at Buffalo. Okay, what do they have stashed? Who can't get on the field here? Like, if Kingsley Jonathan wasn't active last week, yeah, some team might be bringing him in.
Yeah, some roster gymnastics here as you're trying to navigate through the season, keep your guys fresh, activate guys that you need to activate when you need to activate them. Sounds like from Alex that we'll get a look at Kyrie Elam on Sunday for the first time this year, which that's worth monitoring. That's worth paying attention to.
Baseball scores, we can say goodbye to the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, pretty soon here. 7-0. Texas leading Tampa.
Yeah, I want to feel bad for the Rays. There's just no support, man. 19,000 people for a playoff game. All those empty seats.
Embarrassing!
The lowest attended postseason game, minus the pandemic.
1919.
Since 1919? Are you kidding me?
Embarrassing!
It's the future here. The Miami Marlins. They built this beautiful stadium and no one goes.
It's embarrassing!
Why? Like, if you're Rob Manfred, they don't deserve a team. Stop trying. I guess hockey's blind to Arizona. We're blind here to Tampa. Even people in Tampa don't like this team.
So if they build a new stadium, as they're going to do in Tampa, the result will be the same?
Sure. It's where the stadium's located.
Is the new stadium located in the same vicinity
Yes,
as
it's in
the Trop?
Yeah, it's in St. Petersburg. Nobody wants to go to St. You're future Florida, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like, would you want to get in your car and deal with traffic for over an hour and go to St. Petersburg?
Well, we do when we go to a Bills game if you're from Rochester.
It's different. It's the NFL. I think the NFL can pull in from every direction.
Sure. But it's a postseason game, Gino. It is the postseason.
Well, I've seen a lot of whining. Well, we didn't learn the schedule until
get outta
Sunday, and we got
Get
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Get out of here. I know you want to bring kids to a game, too, because you could use that as an excuse while kids are in school. Look, you're not taking them to a late game. You're not taking them to the 8 o'clock game on a school night. This is where you would take your kids to. You would take them to this game. That's sad. For the Rays. They've dealt with it before, and they've obviously advanced farther than they're going to advance this year with that limited support, but I just hate hearing about it. And that number yesterday, when I saw how low it was, that was just that was staggering to me. We'll take a break. We have happy hour coming up next in the sports bar. We'll get some news and notes from the NFL. Whip around. We'll look at that injury report for the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott speaking to the media earlier today before practice. Von Miller has returned. And accolades for Josh Allen. We should take some time to talk about just how great Josh Allen has been playing, not just in the last week, in the last 3 weeks, because we spent a lot of time talking about how bad Josh Allen played at the end of last season and at the beginning of this season.
It's human nature. We're going to focus on the bad, right? Well, I think it's noteworthy that people don't talk about the good as much as they should.
Happy hour next. You can join us at 866-4FAN. Pull up a stool, 585-866-4326. The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester.
Odyssey has sports for
Streaming online and in the Odyssey app at The Fan Rochester. The sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan Rochester.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The Fan Rochester Sports Update.
Josh Allen once again named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. That's the 11th time in his career. Second time this year he's won the award. Head coach Sean McDermott asked if Jacksonville has that home field at Tottenham Hotspur.
No, I think they've practiced. I think they've played, a number of times in the stadium that we're going to play. I don't know, but in the films that I've watched, it seems like there's multiple games of them in this same stadium. So, I guess the advantage goes to them.
Von Miller limited today. He has not been activated to the roster. Greg Rousseau missing practice with a foot injury. Baseball playoffs, the Rays about to be bounced here. Tampa is trailing Texas 7-0. They're in the 7th. Toronto and Minnesota, no score in the 1st. Sabres sending down Yuri Kulik and Isak Ruzin. Brett Murray also coming back, but Murray needs to clear through waivers. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader. The Fan, Rochester.
The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia.
So Von will practice today. His 21-day window will start.
I think they're really focused and trying to own in on the Jaguars because this could be a letdown week. That's what I'm nervous about.
If you're a Bills fan, you're fearful of the same thing that Jaguars fans are fearful of. Josh Allen.
Mike Danger.
Jacksonville presents all sorts of challenges for the Buffalo Bills. The biggest challenge, or one of the challenges at least, is the travel. It's getting out of that routine. What is it about this Jaguars team that makes you nervous going in? And do you think that this goes the way it's been going for these two teams when they face off against each other? Tight, competitive, and really kind of a toss-up situation.
Gene Battaglia.
There shouldn't be all this animosity against Jacksonville, but this is it's a tough spot. I'm going to reserve my judgment until later in the week, but Danger, I have concerns just based on the recent history of the Bills here. And based on the fact that you've got this wonky travel schedule and everything else that you're kind of throwing into it.
Randy Gregory, J.C. Jackson.
Let us start the show with some baseball.
95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Welcome to Happy Hour in the Sports Bar. Gino, if I may, can we start with some hot uniform talk? Did you see what the Bills will be wearing in jolly old England?
I did, and to me, this is the best look, if I had to say.
Ooh. Hot uniform talk in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia. Do you have a power ranking of the Bills' uniform combinations off the top of your head? Because I'm with you.
Okay.
My take is that what we'll see on Sunday morning, the blue homes, the home blues, and the blue jersey with the white pants is their best look.
Yeah.
That's number one for me. Number two for me, I'll go white on white.
Okay.
3 is the blue on blue. Red on red last.
We're nearly the same here. I have red on red last. I know a lot of people like that. Fine, whatever. To me, you're not the Chiefs. You're not the Patriots. Blue is the color, the primary color of the Buffalo Bills. I have what they're wearing, blue jerseys with the white pants. I have the white and white, the stormtrooper look as your second.
Yeah.
And then as third, the blue pants on the road with the white jerseys. I like that ahead of the uniform.
I do like the blue pants with the white jerseys. I forgot about that one. I shouldn't have forgot about that. I like that better than blue on blue or red on red. I like the contrast. Give me a blue pant, white jersey combo over blue on blue or red on red. They were winning in the blue on blue last year.
We are exactly the same. Would you put the Stormtroopers ahead of the white jersey and the blue pant?
Yeah, I think I.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No. I like now that you brought up the blue pants because they don't do it often, right? With the white jersey and the blue pant, you don't see it that often.
I think that's been more of the common thing on the road.
Has it been?
Yeah, not this year. They ended up wearing blue on blue the night of the Jet game.
Yep.
And then they wore all whites down in Washington.
Good looking all white win in Washington there with the all whites. I think I like the contrast of what we're going to see on Sunday. The blue pants with the white is probably my number 2. Number 1 is what we'll see on Sunday. The home blues, the blue jersey, the white pants. Number 1 power ranking.
If I had to say, like, when you're going to bring back the red helmets, but that's not today. I guess we'll have to wait until next year.
And I saw somebody at the game with the chromey blue helmet.
Yeah.
The blue chrome. will we see that before we see the throwback helmets, the chrome blue alternate helmet, rather than the throwback red helmet?
Or would you go chrome red? I'll tell you which team looks good in the chrome red. That's actually Houston.
Yeah,
they look good.
Yeah.
They played good.
Yeah, those are
Look
sharp.
Play well, yeah.
Those are sharp. Hey, we appreciate you joining us here for Happy Hour in the Sports Bar. We're here every afternoon, 3 to 6 on the Fan Rochester. It's a privilege to be able to talk sports with you here in the Flower City. We don't take it for granted, and we appreciate you giving us some of your most valuable, precious commodity, your time. You can listen to us in so many different ways. The Odyssey app is where we sound our best. You can download that for free and search out The Fan Rochester. At The Fan Rochester on YouTube and Twitch if you want to watch the video stream, and you can get us on your smart device as well when you ask it to play 95.7 The Fan.
Yeah, and again, if you missed the show, you download the Odyssey app, and you can go back and time up 72 hours, and you listen to it on demand.
We also are on Elon's Twitter, X, at The Fan Rochester. You can engage with us there. We appreciate that. And, we don't have a text line, so that kind of acts as our default text line. But you can join us on the phone as well. Pull up a stool at 585-866-4FAN, 866-4326. Despite what you may have heard earlier this afternoon, our phones are working. I do have confirmation of that.
Do we tell Derek what happened, the engineer? Or I think we just kind of let
I'll tell him, because we'll have a hearty laugh over it, because it's me and my OCD tendencies that created this S storm in the 3 o'clock hour when we were trying to get PJ Glasser, the host of BetQL, send it in on with us. But we're beyond that now. We're moving forward, and the Buffalo Bills were on the practice field today, and it was the first day that we got to see this regular season Von Miller practicing with his teammates.
Listed as limited. So what does that tell you? It tells me that if the Bills are going to practice and get on a plane tomorrow, I can't imagine that Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott would say, yeah, Von, go right ahead. Here's my take on Von Miller. This is Von Miller, okay? Von Miller was also the guy that said he was going to come back and be ready in time for the Jet game, and he ended up being out for the season. He didn't know how the extent of the injury, but the point is, would you say Von Miller is a leader on this team? Yes or no? It's yes with a capital Y. So what he's doing here, Danger, is saying, hey, I'm coming. I'm getting everything ready. My body is ready. Management, you want to tell me don't be out there? Then you go ahead. But I'm preparing as if I'm going to be out there. And this is how everybody else on the team should be preparing as well. So to me, that's Von Miller actually acting like a leader here, saying, hey, I'm ready to go here. Hold me back. And okay, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, they're going to hold him back.
Sean McDermott on Von Miller's return to practice today.
He's, going to come in and do his job, just like he's done since he's gotten here. Certainly a really good player, and, but at the same time, it's just, what he's coming back from. At the end of the day, I know that he's intent on playing just good team football, but it's a welcome addition to the group, and having him back. I mean, it's been a journey for him, and I don't think I've ever seen a guy with such a positive mindset, mental toughness, just really goal oriented on getting back and getting healthy again and getting out there on the field.
Is it difficult for a guy like that to come back with just 1 or 2 practices?
We'll see. That's what we just got to see. Take it one day at a time.
At a time, but how excited was he today, or is he?
Yeah, he's excited every day he's around here, right? So he's, as you guys know, a positive guy and brings a lot to our building, not just on the field but off the field, and in terms of his mindset and how he goes about his business.
Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott on the return of Von Miller.
If Von Miller plays, if Von Miller doesn't play, does that impact how you view this game in Jacksonville and London? No. I think that you can win this game without Von Miller, and if he does come back, that doesn't mean that you're automatically going to win this game. So I think that Von Miller's impact on this game going across for 10 plays, whatever it is, no, just get ready. Maggie this morning on Maggie and Perloff, exactly, like her take was like, put him in bubble wrap and rest him till November, December. I don't know. I think at some point we're going to see him here before the end of October. I think that's the timeline.
Will we see Greg Rousseau when we look at that injury report, Gino?
Yeah, that was talking with Alex Brasky last hour. Greg Rousseau not seen out there today. It is a foot issue. And as we've come to learn, the Wednesday injury report And it's not the be-all, end-all, but last week we learned there was something wrong with Jordan Poyer. So Greg Rousseau not out there today. The only other one, Christian Benford in a non-contact jersey, but he was limited today. So Benford, they certainly would love to have out there. The other noteworthy thing here, Danger, is that they have yet to do anything with a roster spot for Tre'Davious White. So there's going to be a move here before the team goes to London.
Sean McDermott earlier on the availability of Kyer Elam. Is he ready for his next challenge?
Yeah, he's done a good job. Just really, Kyer is just a second-year player, and Dane is a little bit, beyond that in terms of his number of years in the league and what he's experienced and witnessed firsthand. So probably a little bit more of a new situation for Kyer as far as that goes of not playing. And I think he's done a good job, and now, potentially he could be called upon to play, and he's got to be ready.
Potentially. Not giving anything up. Giving anything up. Everything needs to be earned. Potentially getting a shot to play and show us what he can do.
Well, if Kyer Elam isn't active this week, then something is really, really wrong. It was just kind of a numbers thing, and maybe it was a matchup thing with the way the Jets' offense was. But then you realize it's kind of working here. Why do we need Elam? You need him this week. If they promote Jamarcus Ingram and put him active ahead of Kyer Elam,
yeah, then I would say there's probably something wrong with the player, and there's probably some kind of a feud happening between the coach and the player, where the player is done, wants to be gone. That would be my guess, but we'll see. Hey, I'm excited if he gets out on the field. I want to see what he has here in year 2. And there is an opportunity here with that injury to Trey White, that unfortunate injury to Trey White, to see what Kyer Elam can bring to this Buffalo Bills defense. We know what Josh Allen can bring to the Bills offense when he's playing his game, and Josh Allen today, for the second time in 3 weeks, named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, it's okay, great.
Ho-hum. Nobody talking about it.
Yeah,
nobody talking about the performance on Sunday. When you listen to the highlights, and you see the highlights, and you hear the national media talking about everything that happened in week 4. Does Josh Allen's performance get the recognition that it actually deserves?
No, because this isn't the fun thing to talk about if you're Stephen A. or any takesman out there. And this is kind of what I don't like about our industry, Danger, is that we're a little too much in the moment. And yes, week 1 was terrible. There were also takes out there that Josh Allen is not elite, that the Buffaloes can never win with Josh Allen as their quarterback. Those exist. I don't want to give anybody credit here because those takes are dumb. And yeah, it's a good take because it makes you upset. No, it doesn't. It's just like we live in the world where, here is my opinion and you react to it. No. Honestly, be a little more nuanced with it. Meaning, hey, unless Josh Allen doesn't figure out how to clean up the turnover issue, that's going to come back to bite the Buffalo Bills at some point. Now, that I would listen to that. In fact, I would also kind of add to that, we'll see bad Josh at some point again. You hope it's not here this week in Jacksonville, but I would think it's unreasonable to expect you're going to see MVP Josh week after week after week. But to say that Josh Allen isn't elite and then switch your take here 3 weeks later, no. Which one is it? Because if Josh Allen is not elite, okay, then who is elite in this league? Patrick Mahomes. End of list? Right now, Josh Allen's a top 2 quarterback in this league. You can't deny that. It's a fact. Look at the stats. Look at where the team is right now. But we were talking about Tua and as an MVP and everything else. We say it's a week-to-week league. That applies to takes here too, Danger. And the take that Josh Allen is really, really good is just not as interesting to people outside Western New York. And we just have to deal with that.
I'll push back a little bit. I do think a good take does make you angry. It does split an audience. But I will also say in the same breath, if you're going to have a take, then you do have to have something of substance to back up why you believe what you believe, other than just the fact that it's going to make somebody mad. I'm going to say this because it's going to make you mad. No, say it because it's going to make me mad, but give it to me in a way that it makes sense, or there's some facts or data behind your take. That way I can be mad that you're telling me the truth. You can be mad at something that is actually factual. It's why I'm entertained by the takesmen of our era. Because the good ones, the ones that are the best takes, do have that to back you up. When we were critical of Josh Allen at the end of last season and after week 1, it was very easy to be critical of Josh Allen because you had substance behind it. He turned the ball over more than any other quarterback in the NFL last year. He had a 4-turnover game week 1. I'm not going to go as far as to say that the Bills can't win with Josh Allen, but I will say, hey, Josh Allen Tua looked like a better quarterback through 3 weeks of this season than Josh Allen did. That's a fair take, and it might make you mad to hear that, and especially after you saw the performance head-to-head in week 4, but through 3 weeks of the NFL season, Tua looked like a better quarterback than Josh Allen because you had that week 1 blemish. That's fair. That's reasonable, is it not? It's not to say that Tua's a better quarterback than Josh Allen. We know he's not. We've been saying it for years. As long as he's been in the league, we've been calling him a one-read quarterback.
I think Josh Allen is in this bucket, and I will push back. If a take makes you angry, I get angry at things, but just people spewing nonsense, okay? Like, oh, I lost the election. Oh, I didn't lose the election. I digress, okay? We live in a world of fake facts and fake news, and that stuff makes me angry, and like people presenting it as a take. What we're talking about here is Josh Allen, and I think Josh Allen falls into a bucket where until he actually takes this team to the level that people think that this team should be at, if it's another playoff disappointment, guess what? There's always going to be the but with Josh Allen. It's you could say it's unfair. I could say it's unfair because 13 seconds was not his fault. He couldn't have played any better in that game. You could make the argument that was the best performance ever by a quarterback in a playoff game in defeat. And yet Buffalo still somehow lost that game. But then you look at the Cincinnati game and you look at the dud against the Jets. Josh Allen detractors will always kind of latch onto those one or two things, Danger, out there. But it just seems like those one or two things out there, those games seem to have much more noise as to what Josh Allen, the good that he's doing, where he's leading this team right now.
Yeah, and I think also there's an element to our society where people just want to be pissed off. People are more comfortable being angry, and when you say something angry or you say something that makes them angry, now they're more engaged, or they're more susceptible to engagement, to being engaged, to listening to what you have to say, so you get their attention by saying something outlandish like, Josh Allen isn't elite. How many teams in the NFL right now would take Josh Allen as their starting quarterback? I would say there's probably 5 teams in the NFL right now that they feel that they're probably set at quarterback. 5.
That's a good list. By that, do you mean, okay, how about Justin Herbert?
No, I think they're good with him. I think they're okay. Yeah. They wouldn't. I don't think they would give up what they have with Herbert for Josh Allen. I think they probably view them as comparable, and I would listen to that. I think that's okay. But I think Jacksonville, their opponent this way, I think they feel good with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is better than Josh Allen,
but just kind of the trajectory here of where Lawrence is right now, still on, looking for his first contract.
Correct. Whatever, Joe Burrow, obviously, he's gotten them to the Super Bowl. Consecutive AFC.
Right.
They're fine.
I think
Mahomes, you get it.
Dak Prescott. No.
Oh, no, you would take Josh Allen. Cowboy fan, look in the mirror. You would take Josh Allen over Dak Prescott. You'd crazy if you wouldn't. Right now in New York, if you're the Giants or the Jets, are you kidding me? It's not even close. It's not even a question. Even though the Giants will have Daniel Jones on the cap for more money next year than the Bills will have for Josh Allen, that's why the Giants are the Giants. Yes, there's no shortage of teams that would take him today. And why? Because he is elite. He's elite. And if he's not, then the only elite quarterback, and we're only allowed to have one, it's only going to be Patrick Mahomes. That's it?
That's it.
That's the only elite quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Well, good. We'll get him in prime time every single week then. Let's invite Taylor Swift while we're at it.
Well, part of this, too, is the NFL, I think, has lapped all other leagues here. Honestly, it's in terms of interest, where we're talking about the NFL 12 months a year, and there are only so many takes. And sometimes you're just filling time with takes that don't make any sense.
Week-to-week league, as they say.
Yeah. Funny how like you're not allowed to film anything when like it used to be for Bills practice. Hey, you could watch the whole practice. You can kind of get the gist. I'm looking at practice footage from Giants camp today with Saquon, and looks like he's doing well. And he's running all these routes, and maybe they're going to activate him. Do you think Sean McDermott picked up the phone this week and called Brian Daboll and tried to coach him up on how to beat the Dolphins?
Oh, you like this. This is your take. This is the take that you think that Sean McDermott should give Brian Daboll some tips on how to slow down the Dolphins.
Right? Like you would think that wouldn't it be great for Buffalo for Miami to get a loss that nobody was expecting?
What is the gentleman's agreement on that in the NFL? What is it within the fraternity of NFL coaches? Is there any sort of collusion at all when you're talking about going up against another opponent? I mean, how does that work?
That's a great question. But it does happen though.
You saw the post game embrace by McDaniel and McDermott, right? Where McDaniel kind of whispered in McDermott's, I effing respect I respect the F out of you, whatever it was.
That's his new age hippie, almost like what are you talking about?
Hippie? He's talking like a
fanboy.
Like an adult. He's talking like a young adult who's really like respecting the crap out of the job that Sean McDermott has done against them in the 4 meetings that they've met.
McDaniel is smart, but there's a little hippie to him.
I guess I don't know what your definition of a hippie is. I just view him as like
he's eccentric.
I view him as an egghead. He's a smart guy. He's probably a numbers guy, a little hipster, right? But I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that's something Sean McDermott is deviating from his schedule this week to pick up the phone and coach up Brian Daboll in advance of playing the Dolphins.
Well, would Daboll even take the call? Like, what is the relationship between the two?
I imagine it's a little icy.
Well, that's going to, things on Sunday night that you'll stay for. Like, Bills beat the Giants by 3 touchdowns, and, is that just, how is that handshake?
Are we looking ahead? We're going beyond Jacksonville could be a problem on Sunday.
Jacksonville will be a problem. I just got on the topic here at Daboll for some reason, seeing the Saquon thing, and I was just wondering, what is that embrace going to look like? Because we all kind of suspect, right, that McDermott and Daboll, that didn't end the way.
I don't think it ended well.
No.
I think Daboll had aspirations, and McDermott was willing to give him. But we saw moments of that last season with Daboll as OC where you could just tell McDermott wasn't happy with the direction of the offense. The New England game. Specifically, I think that might be a little bit icy. I think it might be a little bit icy in there. Back to Jacksonville, the Jaguars, the Bills' opponent on Sunday morning. And by the way, our pregame coverage, bright and early, 6 a.m. Sad news, Italian Carousel fans. The show is taking a 1-week break. Don't worry. Soccer Scores from Italy and all of your favorite Italian contemporary music will return a week from Sunday.
I didn't hear Joe Capogreco mention that on my drive out to Buffalo, where he was like, we're not on next week because of football. Oh, okay.
Josh Allen on this week's opponent, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're a really good team. They've shown they can play at a high level. They're a playoff team. They got a really good quarterback on that side of the ball, some really good playmakers. So we got to understand that. And it's the biggest one on our schedule because it's the next one, and we're not changing anything that we're doing throughout the week other than traveling a day early. But in terms of preparation and game planning, they have our entire focus. It's a really good team that's going to take 60 minutes of football on Sunday.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm turning into a zombie, like from that EAS test that got sent to our phones earlier.
Yeah, that might be it.
Zoning out there for a second.
That's fine. Yeah.
We'll have the coverage for you starting at 6. Of course, the game kicks off. What is it? 9:30. It's kicking off, right?
9:30. NFL Network.
And let's talk about what's important as well. Governor Hochul announcing that bars and restaurants will have until Friday to apply for permits to serve alcohol this Sunday morning.
8 a.m.
As early as 8 a.m.
8 a.m. So previously it was at 10 a.m. I remember the last time the Bills were in London it was noon. I'm like, what? We're still doing this? What? Okay.
If you're going to go out,
if
you're going to just tip 20%. Just make sure you're giving your servers 20%.
Self-serving plug here. I will be with Tommy Muley.
Oh, good.
At the Chili Bill Gray's.
Oh,
tap
wonderful.
Room. Yeah, so
fantastic.
Which it's always fun watching people come up to Tommy and just,
It's just ball busting.
Yeah, exactly.
Constant ball busting. I'm good with that. That'll be fun. We can't wait. And that'll be Sunday morning, 9:30. Kickoff from London as the Bills and the Jags take on each other. All right, we got to get to a round of shots, Gino.
Yeah, so we ready to say goodbye to the Rays? Pretty close to it. We'll set you up for baseball tonight. What's happened in Tampa Bay too? Like, yeah, they're getting their new stadium, but do they really deserve it? We got to go over the numbers for here. Did you see Nick Castellanos last night? Like, wait a second. How you're giving his teammates the bird? What is going on here?
Not so fast.
Yeah, we'll go over that. Sabres action tonight too, and Dame time. I love a great prank, and this is one pretty good one played on Dame time.
We'll get to that and more next. A round of shots, closing time, last call. You can join us at 866-4FAN, 585-866-4326. The Sports Bar continues next on The Fan, Rochester.
Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with your favorite teams.
update.
Once again, Josh Allen, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. 11 times he's now won that in his career. Head coach Sean McDermott talking about Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I mean, we try and scout out just directional, flow of the wind, not to get too specific, but, where the play clocks are located, because that's obviously important as it relates to the signal callers and just overall playing surface, just to name a few.
Von Miller was limited today. He has not been activated to the roster. Greg Rousseau missing practice with a foot injury. The team leaving for London after tomorrow's practice. The baseball playoffs. Rays about to be eliminated. Texas is up in the 9th, 7-1. Toronto and Minnesota no score in the 3rd. Sabres sending down Yuri Kulik and Isak Rosén. Brett Murray, he's sent down but needs to clear waivers. Gene Battaglia, The Fan, Rochester.
Straight up with no chaser. You're in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
All right, well, we got you for a few minutes on your way home. It's time for a round of shots in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia.
If you're not familiar with the new format here, and by new, they went to it last year in baseball, don't feel bad. We had to look it up, too. Like, they don't reseed.
Right. It's not like, the lowest seed plays the highest seed. They just have a bracket set up with the series. And it is the only way that it would have been wonky is what?
If Minnesota won, then you knew. If Toronto won,
right,
then you would have had maybe Texas. Well, regardless, you don't have to worry about it. All right, now you're confusing me. I just know that it's going to be Texas, and barring the miracle of miracles here, Rays are down by 6 in the 9th. Texas is going to face the O's, and Houston's going to get the winner of Minnesota and Toronto.
Texas O's is a fun series. That's a series I'll be intrigued by.
Here's the thing I didn't realize about Texas. Like, Eovaldi's dealing today.
Oh,
like,
he
wait
was
a
great.
second. So for Texas, we're banging on their pitching all year. And then, you lost Max Scherzer. Good luck. Well, their bullpen still is really weak. But if they get starting pitching like this against Baltimore.
Sure, yeah, and that offense is fantastic. It cooled off a little bit towards the end of the season, but man, that just the bats are hot for Texas, and Tampa doesn't really have an answer here, so it looks like Texas will advance, and that'll be a fun series. Texas against Baltimore, and then no score in the Toronto-Minnesota series here, game 2 of that series, where Minnesota looking to advance with a date in Houston.
Yeah, that's the thing about these games. It used to be wild card 1 and you're done. Best of 3, and you realize, you're already done here.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's Arizona, the chance to move on. They're going to send Zach Gallen to the mound against Freddie Peralta. And Philadelphia can move on tonight with a win over Miami. They get the prime time treatment, 8 o'clock on ESPN. More about that game in a minute. But I want to go back to Tampa here, where if they're out, probably baseball's like, they wouldn't say good, but 19,704. The attendance for the game 1. And judging by the looks of it, they might be lower for this game, too. I haven't seen today's announced attendance. Game 1, the lowest attendance for a playoff game since Game 7 of the Reds and White Sox. That was the Black Sox scandal in 1919.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. And I don't know if we might break that record once again for the Rays today.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, I want to feel bad for the Rays, for the team, but there's no excuse. What are we doing?
What are we doing? They're going to end up with like the Marlins ballpark. It'll be nice. It'll have all the bells and whistles, and nobody will go if you're putting it in St. Petersburg. Just whatever. It's Rob Manfred's league. Fans in the stands and viewers on ESPN were confused last night after hitting a double and sliding in safely to second base. Popping up, Phillies outfielder Nick Castellanos got up and flipped off his own dugout. That gesture would be against FCC rules. Well, turns out he wasn't giving teammates the bird. He was raising his ring finger as if to say, hey, we're getting a championship. When you look closely at the photo, my question is, Danger, you can do that? No, do it like, okay, put your hand down. Now do it on, no, put your hand up. Yeah, I can do it on that. Oh, you can do that?
Yeah.
You know how hard that is for people? I can't.
Are you arthritic? No, that's my right hand.
No.
Easier on my left.
Okay. When you get home, more people are like me than Danger and Castellanos. I cannot do the ring finger on my own.
I love that they had to explain. Like they went back. There you go. You did it.
Okay. I need my thumb to kind of.
Come on, Gene.
No.
Seriously?
Go home and ask your girls tonight to do it. You are like double jointed there.
I am not. I love how they had to explain. They had to come back and explain, like, nope, that's not an FCC violation. That's his ring finger, everybody. We didn't, we're okay with, we have a problem with the guy, flipping off his finger. We're totally fine with the overweight guy ripping off his shirt and doing a dance next to the Philly Fanatic.
Yeah,
we're okay with that.
But, I thought it was just kind of what Pete and I do tonight. Like, it can be like kind of a, an inside joke. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's flipping off his teammates, and he didn't realize he lost his bearings.
No, that was look, I like Philly, man. I'm sorry, I know this is your rival, but man, they're fun. The energy at the ballpark there is always electric. It's a fun team. It's a great matchup. They're getting the Braves. That's right.
That is going to be the one team. And I was talking to Dan Fates, and I'm like, you're hedging. He's like, no, I'm not hedging.
Nervous about the Phillies.
Nervous about the Phillies.
Have to be. They've got a lot of attitude. They play lights out. They got good pitching. They're going to be a problem.
I don't like either team, but that probably is the series I'm most interested in watching.
For sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Tonight, it's the UPL show. Sabres playing in Columbus. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He's going to play the entire game for Buffalo. No Tage Thompson tonight, but in the lineup, Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power. And no Tage Thompson, no TV tonight. And a game is being streamed for free on Sabres.com. Just one more preseason game. That is Friday at home against Pittsburgh. And then it begins for real next Thursday against the Rangers.
I mean, I should know this, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot. We haven't been paying that close attention to Sabres preseason hockey because, frankly, it's NFL season, and we care about the games when they matter. But have they done anything with their goaltending situation? Is it going to be Comrie and UPL and Devin Levi, the three-headed rotation like they had last year?
I would assume that's going to be the plan at the outset. I would also assume that the moves today raising some eyebrows. So Kulik and Rosine coming back to the Amerks, whoa, okay, they're going to send these guys down. I thought one of the two would stick up there. Mm-hmm. They're not. Murray, reading some things online, there's real fear that somebody's going to claim Brett Murray off of waivers. Mm-hmm. He's not going to make it back to Rochester. But with Rosine and Kulik coming back down, did the Sabres make their decision on Benson? Now, there's that wonky rule that, hey, you're still in junior and we're drafting you, but if you don't make the NHL, we can't send you down to the AHL. You're going back to junior. So that's the decision the Sabres have to make here. Do we keep Benson on the roster in the NHL, or do we send him back to junior? I'm thinking all along. I think most people are like, he's back to junior. But if the kid is impressing, they're waiting until the last second to make their decision on that. We all like a good prank, Mike Danger. Who doesn't? OG Anunoby. He plays for the Raptors. Never heard him until I saw this story. Off-season workout pals with new Bucks guard Damian Lillard. Prior to the Lillard trade, Anunoby sends his friend a text. Welcome to Toronto. Wait, Lillard, he goes into a panic. He didn't hear anything from his agent. Did Anunoby know something? Well, we text him, didn't hear back. Calls him, didn't pick up. Well, he only called back a few minutes later, laughing hysterically.
Yeah, hilarious. Sure, Lillard's like, yeah, that's where I want to be. I want to be in Toronto. But there was some smoke there around Toronto. They were one of the teams that were rumored to be involved, right?
Right. It probably, maybe it was just the Brandon Bean doing diligence, any player that's available. Toronto was 500 last year. They couldn't get beyond the play-in round. Mm-hmm. It's a team that's a shell of itself that won a championship. Do you forget that Toronto won a championship? Sometimes I forget they won a championship.
Did you forget that the coach of those Raptors is now the coach of the Sixers? And the Sixers now training camp in Colorado? Did you know that?
I didn't. I knew Nick Nurse was in Philadelphia, but why are the Sixers in Colorado?
Hey, everybody! We know he's not on the practice court, but he's here at Slick Willie's. Slick Willie's, everybody. Welcome on into James Harden, who later tonight will be taking the stage for Amateur Night. Don't forget to tip James his 20%. Here, the strip clubs in Colorado are fantastic. That's what I hear.
Very good.
That's what I hear. James Harden is there, but he's not practicing. So is this the James Harden hold in? What good? He wants to be traded. Why is he with the team? Why is he there? Is there a fine if he doesn't travel with the team? He's not going to practice.
Normally, the court of public opinion would go on the side of the player. I don't think that's the case here in Philadelphia. Like,
No.
Okay, you're angry at the GM. Can you give us the reasons why? Oh, because he said he tried to trade you and nothing worked out.
Yeah.
So you're upset.
You're mad that the GM is doing the right thing by the organization. That's what you're mad about. The GM said, "Yeah, I'll give you the max. I can't give you the max. You're not performing. You can't. I can't do that." No GM is going to do that. That's delusion. That's just a delusional guy. We'll see what happens. That saga will be fun to follow here in the preseason of the NBA. But when I heard that they were away from Philadelphia, they're going to Denver, training camp in the mountains, and Harden was with them, I'm like, well, the strip clubs in Denver must be fantastic. Why else would he be there? That's Shots in the Sports Bar. We'll come back. Last call is next. The most dangerous words in all of sports talk radio. We go to the phones. And you can pull up a stool at 866-4FAN. 585-866-4326. The Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Mike Danger for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 95.7 The Fan. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use, and you got a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Mike, FanDuel.com/MIKE to kick off the NFL season with me on FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with
a chance against Houston, but that's still that feels like a compelling series.
I think we all want to get to Houston-Baltimore, right? But if we ended up with Houston and the Texas Rangers.
Oh, the battle for Texas.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Sure.
Get my people really into it.
Sure. Yeah, but the one that's going to knock our socks off is if Philadelphia advances. Philadelphia-Atlanta.
Atlanta.
That'll be a memorable ALDS.
Yeah, that's the one. And I think you and I disagree on Arizona. I think Zach Gallen rises up. Freddie Peralta, I'm not impressed with. You think Milwaukee will send it to a game 3?
Yeah.
You can't. You had your ace on the mound last night for Milwaukee, up 3-0, and all of a sudden 2 swings of the bat and you're done. So to me, Arizona is the team that is young, doesn't know any better. Here we are. I think the Dodgers will wipe them off the map. So to me, it's the Dodgers against the Braves. It's going to hold. The chalk is going to hold here. I hate saying that because that's easy to say, but kind of that's the way it looks. But out of the non-chalk teams, who would you say is the best bet? Philadelphia, Texas?
It's Philadelphia. For me, it's Philadelphia.
Wow, against Atlanta, you would.
Yeah, because they've beaten them before. They are not afraid of the Braves.
We used to have Trista on our show. I listened to her last night on BetMGM, and she had like this great play. Like when we get to that point, don't bet the Braves now. Bet them live when they fall behind, because then you're going to get better odds because they have such firepower on that team.
They're never really out of it, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, that was quick work of the Tampa Bay Rays. Man, doesn't it feel like forever ago that the Rays were getting off to this unbelievable start to the season and how quickly things have changed? And there they are. Their season is done after getting off to that historic start to the season. Was it not historic?
It didn't set the record. No.
They were impossible early in the season. But Texas, that offense has been strong, good pitching in this 3-game series, and they have advanced. We have the Twins and the Jays, I want to say, still scoreless right now.
They tied the year record. 13-0.
Okay.
They tied.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so that counts as historic, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so tomorrow, Thursday means we talk fantasy football in the sports bar. And that means Andy Behrens from Yahoo Fantasy will help us set our lineup as we prepare for the start of Week 5. We won't spend a lot. We're not a Bears show. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about the Bears and the Commanders.
That's tomorrow night, though.
It is tomorrow night.
There's talk. I don't know if it's media wishing this, that the Bears will fire Eberflus tomorrow night. After tomorrow, because it's the bye.
It's as bad as it's been.
Yeah.
This is the worst generation, the worst era of Bears football in my generation, my lifetime. I can't think of any time that was lower than this. They should fire him. They should and I hate to say it, Poles is next. They're going to start over again.
Yeah.
Nobody's the only guy that's safe in that organization is the guy that's working to build him a stadium. The president, Kevin Warren. And if Kevin Warren has his way, he'll be able to continue to look for the best price, the best location for a new Bears stadium, while also kind of running things and moving on from the guys that he had nothing to do with.
Did you, when you talked to Tony Cotillo yesterday, did the topic of
tight ends?
Yeah, did that come up? Yeah.
Yes, it did.
So what's his advice here with if we're holding on to Waller or holding on to the Kyle Pitts, all these guys that you drafted as tight end 1? It's like, ugh.
It's hindsight, but his thing was you shouldn't have invested in them. You can stream tight end.
Well, that's what we're doing now.
That's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
Like I still think, if Brian Daboll is worth anything, he'll figure out a way offensively with Saquon in the lineup to be productive, and that would include Waller, and that would include getting more out of Daniel Jones. You haven't. It's sad that you don't have that one player means that much to that offense, but it's clear without Saquon Barkley, that offense can't go. It just cannot go. And in the case of Pitts, it's just gross.
Desmond Ridder ain't it? No.
Well, we'll see. It doesn't feel like it. And when we had PJ on with us earlier, did PJ say he liked Atlanta?
No, he likes Houston.
He likes Houston. But the Ridder at home is a different quarterback than he is on the road. So yeah, we'll. By the way, if you missed PJ, some winners for Week 5 in the NFL, some winners for Saturday's college football slate. and his picks for the postseason in Major League Baseball. PJ Glasser does what he always does here in the Sports Bar. He just delivers. And he was patient enough to bear with us through our technical issues, our phone issues. Alex Brasky was fantastic from the Batavia Daily News and Bill's Digest as well. If you missed Alex's conversation, his report from today's practice, the first practice with Von Miller in attendance during the regular season, you can get that. PJ Glasser, our entire show, on demand wherever you get your shows, wherever you get your podcasts. Search out the Sports Bar. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to go back and watch the video stream, we've got that for you on YouTube and Twitch as well, at The Fan Rochester. And don't forget, when we get to 1,000 combined subscribed followers and subscriptions on YouTube and Twitch, Gene and I will perform Into the Night by Benny Mardones at a Friday Football Talk Live.
Remember to like and subscribe, because for my co-host, his mood is dictated by numbers. You want him in a good mood.
That's absolutely correct. My mood is only dictated by how many followers we have on YouTube and Twitch. So get it together, people. All right? Formulate a plan. We're trying to build a community here. So Andy Barron's tomorrow, 3:25. We'll talk some fantasy football, and we'll also dial in and talk some Bills, Jags again tomorrow afternoon here in the Sports Bar. It's been a revolving door. I don't know what to say as far as who's up next on the Fan Rochester, because Gelb is on at the same time as we are. Maggie and Perloff, your new morning show now here on the Fan Rochester, formerly of the afternoon show. So I don't know. I guess the replacement for the Zach Gelb show is up next.
Bomani Jones.
But listen anyways. Thanks for listening. The Fan Rochester.
It's that time again.